It really does start now. 3 noon kickoffs today. The Pack on the road against East Carolina on ESPN. The Tar Heels are in Boone, North Carolina, facing App State on ESPNU. Come on in and hang out with us. Welcome into the ACC Huddle, presented by Marathon. Coach Mark Rick back in the studio hanging out with the fellas, EJ Manuel, Eric McClain, and I'm your host, Jordan Cornette. Eric, this is really the first Saturday of the football season. How'd you start?
It absolutely is, man. You know, last week it kind of felt like a birthday. You know, you get excited, you get to celebrate. This is Christmas in September. Come on, and I'm excited to have my coach back. I got my quarterback. Let's roll.
Yeah, a bunch of great matchups today, guys. Really get a chance to see some of these first-time coaches and how they're going to react with their new teams.
You know, I'm watching the Pitt game, and I'm thinking I'm missing coaching. Then I watch the Virginia Tech game, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not coaching anymore. But a lot of emotions going on for me.
Absolutely. Well, it's a ton of firsts as we get into this weekend. As we look back, you know, the first brawl was Pitt and West Virginia. Mike Elko got his first win at Duke, probably his first loss at Virginia Tech. And for the opener with the Pack, as we look at Dave Doran there, this will be the first opener on the road for the Pack since 2008. EMAC, what kind of challenge does this present?
No, man, it's a big deal. When you're going to this rivalry game in the state, we've got a couple in the state of North Carolina, and it matters. It matters to the people over at ECU. It matters to North Carolina State, and excited to see this team. How do they handle going on the road, that environment? 50,000, it's going to be deep.
Yeah, I want to see, can they pick up for where they left off last season? They capped off a great season, beating the top dog in our conference, which has been Clemson for a long time. So bringing back preseason player of the year in Devin Leary, it's going to be a big one for him.
I coached at East Carolina in 1989, so I know how big of a game that is. And, you know, there's a little bit of an identity crisis when you're wearing the ECU shirt. Is that Eastern? You know, so you got to
put some respect on their name.
And, you know, people aren't even sure what state it's in as far as East Carolina, but it's Greenville, North Carolina. And it's going to be a huge rival game.
Oh, look, it's a G5 opponent. EJ, this is a Pack squad that is 2-score favorites in this one, but a lot of people buzzing, maybe the Pack should be on upset alert. Do you see any reason to fall into a trap like that?
I'm confident in NC State today. You got Trent Penix at tight end, Devin Carter at receiver. Devin Leary has a ton of weapons to give guys opportunities to make big plays. And then the defensive side of the football, I think, will set the tone for this team on the road. They're going to be just fine. This is a mature group, so this won't, affect them at all.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see in that one because we do know Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium is going to be rocking about 50,000 there. Some of them hoping to see an upset. We'll see what happens. Welcome back to the ACC Huddle, presented by Marathon. 47 minutes away from kickoff. NC State on the road against a G5 opponent in East Carolina. 13 in front of the program's name, their highest preseason rank in program history. This group has CFP dreams. Let's talk about that CFP. Yesterday, our Pete Thamel reported the CFP will expand to 12 teams by 2026 at the latest, possibly as early as 2024. The 4 highest-ranked conference champs will receive a first-round bye, and the 5 through 12 seeds will play the first-round games on the campus of the highest seed.
That can be interlopers, somewhat unexpected. That would be North Carolina State, ranked 13th in the preseason. There's Dave Doran. They're on the road in Greenville, North Carolina to take on East Carolina today. Dave, thanks for being with us. Now, let me tell you, those Purple Pirate people get a little bit rowdy when an in-state school comes to town.
Oh, yeah, it's frisky down here, man. They're already calling us names. It's beautiful. College football, man. I love it. I might learn a few new 4-letter words today.
Dave, I know you a little bit. You know a lot of them already, though you try to keep some discipline, I know. Hey, you've got a really experienced team, and some guys have been injured and coming back. How does that impact going into a heated environment like that for the first game of the season?
Well, it helps having leadership on your roster that's been in the fire, I guess you would say, and these guys are excited to play. We haven't played since the Friday of Thanksgiving against UNC because we didn't get to play our bowl. And these kids that were out, injured, Peyton Wilson, Isaiah Moore, and all these guys are so ready to play a football game. And I'm really happy for them just to get a chance to watch them play again and compete. And having their leadership is going to be huge today.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you doing this. Like any opening weekend of college football, I'm sure you've seen some of the highlights Thursday night, last night. What's been your message to your team about playing a clean football game and kind of against a faceless opponent, just doing your job and not self-destructing?
Well, the number one opponent on our schedule every week is going to be NC State. You know, we can't beat ourselves if we have a chance to win, and that message has been preached since January, and the kids understand that. You know, you see it with penalties. You even see that in the NFL. I think one of the preseason games, the Cowboys had 17 penalties. So, you know, we've got to do our best to be focused pre-snap and not let our emotions control us after the snap. Be a mature version of ourselves today.
And being a mature version, Dave, what can we expect from Devin Leary after a great season last year? Where has he taken the biggest stride?
You know, I think just his leadership. You know, last year he was coming off a season where he was injured. He was trying to prove himself and earn a job. That's not where he was this year. You know, he was a returning starter. He's a captain. He's a guy the players and coaches all trust. He's very comfortable in his own skin. He's just been teaching our offense to new players and learning more about defenses for himself. Hopefully that'll translate today in his play.
Hey, Dave, this is great. Really appreciate you giving us this type of access. Looking forward to seeing your team taking on ECU as soon as College Game Day is done. Good luck today and this season. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the access, and go Pack.
All right, so Dave Doeren, double-digit favorite, numbers creeping up a little bit, and it's made Bears board. Now, Bear will tell you, the last time NC State opened in an opponent's stadium, Russell Wilson was the quarterback. He got hurt and they got shut out. Where are you going today?
Early in the summer, I was worried that this might be a trap-type game, all the hype for NC State, but Coach Doeren touched on it. Like, I think they're ready for this challenge. The way last year ended, the opportunity taken from them to win 10 games, Moore and Peyton Wilson back on the defense. The defense gets teams off the field. I just don't know if East Carolina's offense is going to be able to sustain drives against that athletic defense. Devin Leary is not going to make mistakes. I thought months ago that this might be an upset trap, but I like NC State today. I think they win relatively easily.
Taking a look at Thayer Thomas with NC State. One of the difference makers outside, 23 minutes away from kickoff, is the Pack on the road at ECU in a challenge. Two-score favorites. Welcome back into the ACC Huddle. Look at Devin the Dude Leary. Last season, 35 passing touchdowns, set a school record. 20 minutes away from kickoff as they head on the road against East Carolina. ACC Network went all access with the Pack during fall camp. Devin was mic'd up during practice. It was a good listen. Let's take that.
Would be no one other than myself today. Don't put on any front for the camera.
Devin's very poised. When your quarterback's a guy that doesn't get rattled, that keeps the offense that way.
Here we go, here we go.
One's up, let's go, finish! Good ball, Devin. There you go, good. Like it.
Hey, full speed, full speed, full speed.
Boom, boom, boom.
Here we go. Good grab.
Good spot, Dev.
Let's keep it up, let's keep it up. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Good throw right there, Dev. Good job, boys.
Don't mistake the fact that he's calm for being laid back. Man, is he a competitor.
Yes, sir. Take off! First play! First play! First play!
Stop playing, man! Stop playing!
Good ball.
DC, touchdown!
There's a reason why his name is being brought up the way it is now. I'm on the sideline, I'm on the field, I'm like, man, this man's the real deal. Like, this is the Heisman candidate.
Taking a look at Devin Leary's career, he's not disappointed. Redshirt junior QB Leary is back after a breakout season where he threw those 35 tutties, passing a guy by the name of Phillip Rivers, who set the school record of 34 back in 2003. He also threw just 5 picks for a touchdown-interception ratio of 7, the best by any ACC quarterback since Trevor Lawrence in 2018. Pretty good company Devin keeps. So the all-access pieces, the series was great at fall camp. Really got to look at that Pack program. But you were especially impressed with Devin Leary, Coach.
Well, I know you can edit tapes and get the best of the best as far as his throws, but I'm talking about bullseyes. I'm talking about hitting guys on the dead run where they can get yards after the catch, just play after play after play. And it's just so impressive to see a kid be that accurate. And the other thing I saw, too, is a lot of different guys were catching the ball, which gave me peace that there's enough playmakers on the team to help him have that kind of season.
Look, guys, I don't mean to go glass half empty here, but we're just coming off of one sleep where we saw Virginia Tech go to a G5 opponent in ODU and lose, and they look bad. NC State is not Virginia Tech in the midst of a rebuild, but it's still a challenge, Eric. What kind of challenge is this for the Pack as they head to ECU? Because I know you don't necessarily feel like it should be a challenge.
No, I think they should not care at all about ECU. I think it's all about them. I think when you start worrying about an opponent, you start worrying about another name, that's when you get caught up. That's when you lose football games. And for this Pack team to take the step that everybody thinks that they can, which that expectation is championships, it is all about you. Don't worry about anything else. Handle our business. That's the mindset that I'd have going out there today. It's a nameless, faceless opponent. And one thing that I'm very interested in seeing, JC, in this offense is just the running attack. I know they're going to be able to throw it all over the yard, but Jordan Houston, Demi Sumo is a guy that Coach loves. He's a big back, number 0, EJ. So want to see what does that look like in this offense.
I think the exciting part about NC State is that they're so mature. I mean, this is a veteran ball club. A lot of guys coming back that have played a lot of football, been in a lot of different situations. So the fact that they're playing a rival away at ECU, they don't care. Like you said, Emac, they're focused on them. They're focused on their process. They're not worried about a blowout either. You know, they're not one of those teams that, hey, we got to beat these guys by 60. Let's just win the game and move on to the next one.
How does NC State win this year? What's the blueprint look like, Coach, to you?
Well, we saw a lot of offense, but we know their defense, like you mentioned, is so mature. And that linebacking core could be the very best threesome in America. So just a lot of leadership in the heart of your defense, physical play. They're going to get after people.
Coach, I agree. I love that defense. I think that they are going to be out there to absolutely wreak havoc. The biggest thing of that linebacker core that you just said with Drake Thomas, Peyton Wilson, Isaiah Moore, health. You have to stay healthy. Those guys have to be on the field together. They mean so much for this team, and that's where the strength is. That linebacking core and kind of a nickel there in Baker Williams is exceptional, but you have to be healthy, E.
Let's get to simply our noon picks. We have picks throughout the day, but we're going to focus in on noon. NC State at ECU. Eric, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with the Wolfpack guys. I think they truly do roll. I get it's a rivalry game. I know there's going to be excitement for ECU, but this is one of those teams that I think has a shot at a playoff game. They've got to make that happen game one.
Yeah, I'm going Wolfpack big. I think NC State's primed. They're ready to go. They've been talking about the hype all summer long. They don't care about that. Going to handle the business.
I loved my time with the irate Pirates, but I'm taking NC State all the way.
I like NC State in this one as well. If you got the 13 in front of you, the highest preseason AP rank for your squad, not only are you supposed to win on the road against the G5, you're supposed to erupt. You're supposed to show us what that defense looks like. You're supposed to show us what that offense looks like. You got a quarterback in Devin Leary that we believe is an NFL talent. EJ talked about that experience. Let's see it here in this one.
Et tu, Brute, and welcome to Greenville. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon as part of Xfinity Kickoff Week. Well, they've got a few Wolfpack skulls at the Boneyard, but this is a big, bad wolf that comes to Greenville. NC State's got its highest preseason ranking in almost a half century. ECU will look to pull a Week 1 shocker. And with that, we say good afternoon. Anish Shroff, our newest team member, Brock Osweiler, welcome to the ESPN family. And Lauren Sisler is down on the sideline. The way last year ended for NC State, it was a poison pill. They were 9-3 going into the bowl game, had a chance to win 10 games, something the school had only done once. 11th hour, the game goes away. But that has fueled this team the entire offseason, and they feel they've got a team that can win an ACC championship.
It absolutely was the motivation for NC State this offseason. Coach Doran said to us yesterday, he goes, it was a bitter end to our season. He goes, in fact, I'd rather lose a bowl game than not play one at all in the fashion that it played out.
And what they have, they've got a quarterback in Devin Leary who is as good as it gets in college football.
Absolutely. Everything starts and stops with Devin Leary. The guy is a true competitor. His teammates rant and rave about him And NC State is going to go as Devin Leary goes this year. The coaches have put more on his plate as far as getting out of bad plays at the line of scrimmage, and Devin is ready for it. I cannot wait to see what he does today. He protects the ball. He's got a big arm and super talented.
A year ago, he broke Phillip Rivers' single-season record for touchdown passes at NC State. But in this dynamic with these two teams, Brock, weird things tend to happen.
Weird things do happen at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. In fact, ECU has a home record against NC State of 3-1 in the past. So listen, I'm expecting a great ball game. As we know, NC State returns 17 starters. They're a veteran team. They're used to environments like this. But as you said, strange things happen here in Greenville, and I'm expecting a great game today.
ECU has 45 wins against the ACC, 13 against the Pac. NC State won the toss and has chosen to defer. East Carolina will receive. Colin Smith to kick it away for NC State. One of the most anticipated seasons in program history for the Pac, and the dangerous Keaton Mitchell back deep for ECU. Bouncing kick, Mitchell from inside the 5. And he takes it across the 20, and we get our first look at this East Carolina offense led by a local legend, Greenville native Holton Ahlers, who was a Little League demigod growing up in Greenville. Then he goes on to play high school ball just down the road at D.H. Conley, comes to ECU, turned down a bunch of big-time Power 5 offers, and all he's done is become one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the program's history.
You said it best. He's a local legend, 4-year starter, 4-time team captain. He's really worked on his mechanics in the offseason. Can't wait to see what he does today.
Out of the empty set on first down. Pressure coming. Ahlers gets rid of it. He's got C.J. Johnson, who runs out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A gain of 19 and a good start for ECU against a NC State defense that is talented, experienced, and deep across the board.
Absolutely. They returned 10 starters on this veteran defense, and that was something what we just saw there on that first down that defensive coordinator Tony Gibson said yesterday. He said that he was going to bring as much pressure as he could on first down to try to put Holton Ahlers and the ECU offense behind schedule.
It was Peyton Wilson coming on the blitz on first down. Keaton Mitchell is the running back. Ahlers will take a shot downfield, and it's intercepted. Tyler Baker-Williams, the 4th pick of his career. We knew they were going to be good on defense. TBW, one of their best defensive players.
Tyler Baker-Williams right out the gate making a great interception, big play for his defense, and we're not surprised. We know he's a jack of all trades. He's a great coverage corner, likes to play in the slot at that nickel back position. The guy is confident and talented, not surprised for a big play there. Ball slightly underthrown, but you know that's something that we knew Holton was possibly going to have within his hands today, was the chance to audible at the line of scrimmage. You saw him make a quick check. Unfortunately, underthrew the ball. Tyler Baker-Williams, great play.
Devin Leary, the ACC preseason player of the year, hits his running back Jordan Houston in the flat, and he's out of bounds shy of the 40. Houston has waited his turn, spent the last 3 years backing up Bam Knight and Ricky Person. Those two, Knight and Person, accounted for more than 90% of the rush offense for NC State last year. Houston will now be the lead back going into 2022. Leary to throw. Wants a quick out. Dangerous throw, nearly late to the sideline. Incomplete for Devin Carter. And it's second down.
It's a great play right there by Malik Fleming, making a great break on the ball. Devin a little late on that out route there. If you're going to throw that quick 5-yard out, you definitely need to be on time. Otherwise, you're flirting with some danger.
Excuse me, 3rd and 5. 3-man rush. Leary's got time. Downfield for Keon Leshane. Incomplete. Covered well by Demel Hickman. And it's 4th down, so sudden change. And NC State not able to do much.
No, they're not, and that's all Coach Houston at ECU can ask for of his defense, right? There was a sudden change. There's a turnover. You know, momentum just shifted back to the Wolfpack, but that defense goes out there and gets a great 3-and-out stop. That's all you can ask for, and ball's coming back to ECU.
So Shane McDonough, grad transfer out of Towson, two-time All-Colonial selection, will punt it away. And Malik Fleming waits at his own 20-yard line. Line drive kick, Fleming from the 20. Breaks the tackle. Cut back 25 and lunges ahead to the 30-yard line. Both teams have already had the ball once, less than 2 minutes in. Scoreless at Dowdy-Ficklen.
You're watching Xfinity Kickoff Week.
Mike Houston, fourth season as ECU's head coach. He was telling us during his off-season speaking circuit, he implored the fans today not just to show up to this game, but to be loud. He wants it to be deafening for NC State.
He did. He said, feed the crowd and feed them early.
1st and 10 Pirates from the 30. Rajay Harris, former AAC Rookie of the Year in the backfield. Ehlers will throw to the sideline. It's caught. Pickup of about 7 or 8 as we head down to Lawrence Sisler.
Hey guys, I got to tell you, the fans absolutely answered the call that Mike Houston made to them to show up, be loud, be rowdy. Look, 13,000 tickets were sold in the fans student section, and that is a sellout. That is the most tickets that have ever been sold by students. So they are here, they are loud, and they are proud. And it's football season, and that's what Coach Houston says. There is hope in this season. That's the best part when you're 0-0. There is hope, and this team thinks they can come out here and win this football game. They can beat anybody on their schedule.
They throw it behind Jalen Johnson, the Georgia transfer. So it sets up a 3rd down and 4. This is an ECU offense. They feel up front with the infusion of some transfers. They're as good as they've been under Mike Houston, and they really like the skill position players. 2 great running backs, Johnson and Isaiah Winstead, coming in as transfers to go along with C.J. Johnson, who appears to have gotten out of the doghouse.
Absolutely. This team is bigger, faster, and stronger than they've ever been. Coach Houston was really ranting and raving about that yesterday.
Out of the empty set. Ehlers steps up. He can run. He picks up a 1st down and fights his way across the 45, a gain of 10 yards. Ehlers, one of the top rushers for a quarterback in ECU history.
And that's what Holton Ehlers can do for you there. One NFL scout simply calls him a gamer, and you can see that. He can make the throws, but he can also use his feet. He's big, strong, athletic. You see him make a great 1st down there.
Ehlers back to the air, throwing quickly, and a short gain. Tackle made by Shaheen Battle. Isaiah Winstead, here's the grad transfer from Toledo, making the catch. Brock, you watch Ehlers, there is a baseball background, and he's got a lot of throws. He can go sidearm, he can go over the top, and he's really worked on his mechanics in this offseason.
He has. Holton is very crafty with his the angles that he can deliver the football from. He's very fun to watch. And like you said, Anish, he spent a lot of time this offseason really trying to tighten those mechanics and become an even better quarterback.
On the ground, Harris ran into a roadblock right at midfield. Tanner Engel, the hard-hitting safety, making the play. It's 3rd down.
Offensive coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick said to us yesterday that Holton Ehlers at certain times throughout the game will get 2 or 3 plays sent in from the sideline, and they're really putting a lot of pressure on him to get into the best play. We've seen that now already a couple times early of him audibling.
Let's see if NC State dials up pressure. That's a Tony Gibson specialty. Gibson, the defensive coordinator, likes that 3-3-5 defense that's made him so successful over the years. And he says our MO is to be aggressive. 3-man rush. Ehlers has time. Finds a soft spot. It's caught. And a 1st down for ECU. Ryan Jones, I guess you can call him a tight end. He's a bit of a hybrid, but he's their best player on offense.
Absolutely. He's the best athlete on the offensive side of the ball. He's kind of a hybrid tight end. The guy can line up at receiver, tight end. Shoot, you could probably even pop him in the backfield. He's so athletic. And right there, you see him taking advantage of a zone defense that NC State was playing. He found the soft spot. Ehlers delivered an accurate ball first down ECU.
Yeah, coaches raved about Jones, saying he's the guy that gives defenses matchup problems. The NC State coaches told us that's the guy that concerns us the most. Ehlers again, back to the air. Down the seam, wide open. It's Johnson angling, and he's in for 6.
Coach Houston said he wanted to feed this crowd often and early, and that's exactly what Ehlers and C.J. Johnson did there. You see Ehlers, he's going to drive the ball right down the middle of the seam, once again catching NC State playing a soft zone defense, taking advantage of that with a great accurate ball in the seam, and then C.J. Johnson does the rest with his athleticism and gets the Pirates in the end zone early.
Ehlers to Johnson, 39 yards for a score. C.J. Johnson suspended in February, reinstated in May. He's worked his way out of the doghouse and now into the end zone.
Why don't we take advantage of this moment? And wherever you own, we own it.
Forkham Devils, Matt, right? Forkham Devils. No Josh Downs, by the way, for UNC today. And again, UNC on the road at App State. NC State on the road at ECU. For an ACC that's trying to get a little bit of national juice back. A couple of games that are not gimmies to open the season against Group of 5 schools. There's Julian Gray from the 11. He shined during preseason camp, viewed as a breakout player. ECU on the board first, Brock. How did they get it done?
Holton Ehlers having a short-term memory, throws an interception on the previous drive, and then he does what all great quarterbacks do. They come back, they forget about the turnover, and they make a big play. And that's what you see him doing. He's driving a seam ball right here that you see C.J. Johnson doing the rest, making a big play. But a great bend into the seam by C.J., great timing by Holton.
Houston up the gut, out to about the 36-yard line, a gain of 6. Jordan Houston in 2019 took on a bigger role when Ricky Person got hurt, but has not seen as much action in the run game the last 2 years. And that's the big question offensively for NC State. Yes, they lost Ike Ekwonu at left tackle, but they really love Anthony Belton. Who emerges from the skill group?
Yeah, you know, talking to Coach yesterday, yes, they lose a lot of production at that running back position, but he's also very excited about the guys he has in his room now. He says Jordan Houston is a constant big play threat. You know, he says Demi Kongbe, he's a student of the game. He has tremendous ball skills. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. And Coach feels good about the running backs he has in his room right now.
Look at the production they lost. 92% of the rushing offense from a season ago. 3rd down after a short run by Houston, 3 to go.
You know, and this is really where NC State wants to live today. They want to get some good production on 1st and 2nd down running the ball to make it 3rd and manageable on the road.
Now they'll beef up the line. Play action. Leary in trouble. Threw it behind Penix. It's incomplete. Malik Fleming getting in the backfield, the corner, applying the pressure. And McDonough will have to punt it again for the Wolfpack.
Julius Wood coming up with the big hit there. You know, once again, that's where NC State wants to live. They want to live in 3rd and short, so they have the option to run the ball, boot the ball. You see here, they're taking a boot. ECU does a tremendous job of sticking to their rules and principles and covering the zones and making a big play on 3rd down.
Penix looked a little shaken up coming off the field. Second punt for Shane McDonough. Fleming waits at the 25. High snap. This one will chase Fleming back all the way to the 12. One broken tackle. And out of bounds at the 20-yard line. 32nd meeting all time, and weird things have happened in the rivalry between NC State and ECU. Go back to 1987. Both teams playing at Carter Finley in Raleigh. ECU wins. ECU rushes the field, takes down the goalpost. NC State canceled the series after that. But in '92, they play in the Peach Bowl. The Pirates rally from 17 down with 7.5 minutes to go to score a stunner. Then in 1999, Hurricane Floyd hits the eastern part of the state. ECU needed a place to play against number 9 Miami. NC State says, come to Raleigh, play at Carter Finley. ECU stuns number 9 Miami. And Brock, what do?
They take down the goalposts again. Let's be honest, these two schools separated by 83 miles. They don't like each other. This is a big rivalry. Excited about this game today.
Keaton Mitchell hit for a loss on first down by Savion Jackson. Mitchell, the top returning rusher in the American Conference, and he is fast as a photon. You get him the ball in space, he can go.
Absolutely. Super special athlete. Coaches were ranting and raving about his athleticism yesterday and really saying that they want to try to get him the ball as much as they possibly can. You see Holton there signaling to his receiver, really taking command of the line of scrimmage.
Four-man pressure. Ehlers gets rid of it and completes to Calhoun. He's the tight end, a gain of 8, enough to get it to the 26-yard line. It sets up a third down. Now something to watch with NC State. This linebacking core. Peyton Wilson coming back from injury. He was the ACC's top tackler 2 years ago. Isaiah Moore, a stud in the middle. And Drake Thomas was all conference a season ago.
Yeah, you can't talk enough about this NC State defense. They return 10 starters, and they're a veteran group. They play hard, they practice hard, they play with a lot of swagger and confidence, but they have obviously a tough challenge today going against Holton Ehlers at home.
A number of these players were injured last year. Almost all of them came back. Here's the blitz. Ehlers scrambling, throws back across the middle of the field, incomplete. Intended for Jalen Johnson, the Georgia transfer, and the punt team comes on.
You know, I'd expect Jalen Johnson to make this catch as the game goes on. The coaches were really talking this guy up yesterday, saying, you know, what he brought from Georgia has really resonated with the rest of the team as far as preparation, practice, watching extra film. Jalen Johnson's a big-time player. Unfortunately, cannot come up with the catch there.
Now this looks like Ehlers, so he is in to punt it away. Capable of doing that, and Thayer Thomas makes the fair catch after a 38-yard kick. NC State, 2 drives, 2 punts. We'll see if they can get the offense going when we come back.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon. Get the most out of your drive.
It's almost fully packed here at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. 7-0 ECU on top of number 13 NC State. Third possession for the Pack from their own 36. Demi Sumo Karngbe is the running back. Leary hands it to him on first down. One broken tackle. And Sumo Karngbe across the 40. Nice run. He gets to the 42-yard line, a gain of 6.
Yeah, great cut by Demi there, just cutting it back upfield, getting some extra yards, really protecting that football, which Coach Doran said yesterday, hey, if we're going to win this football game today, we need to protect it on the road. You see great ball security there by Demi.
Trips right here on second down.
NC State doing a little audibling. You see ECU adjusting to that audible.
Quick screen. Thayer Thomas got a good block from Darryl Jones to spring Thomas for a first down. Malik Fleming with the push out of bounds. Dave Doran in his 10th season now at NC State, and he told us defensively he's never had this concoction of experience, talent, and depth. And even with someone like Leary, 3rd year now in this offensive system, he says the guys have gone from learning it to mastering it and now teaching it.
Yeah, he even went on to say that when fall camp opened, they didn't really need to do installs. The offense and the defense has already been in because the guys have been around so long and they know it.
Sumo Kongbe breaking 3 tackles before he's lassoed out of bounds by the safety Tegan Wilk. A gain of 7, and on Agent 0, Demi Sumo Kongbe, who opened some eyes on the scout team last year with a couple of nice runs on this drive.
He really did, and you know, when you talk to his teammates and the coaches, all of them say the same thing. The guy's a ball player, and he's super talented, and they want to get the ball in his hands because they know good things will happen.
How about the nickname Slimy Shark?
I love it.
2nd and 4 plus territory. Off play action, Leary zips it across the middle, and there's Devin Carter. This is an offense that lost its top receiver, one of the most productive in school history in Emeka Emezi. They look at Carter to fill that void. He was the hero of the Clemson upset a season ago.
Absolutely, he's a big-time stud. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. Devin Leary does a tremendous job on the play-action pass, sucks up ECU's defense, and the big wide receiver is able to get behind everyone.
I think Porter Rooks, the slot receiver, moved.
False start. Offense. Number 4. 5-yard penalty. First down.
To the studio, Matt Barry.
All right, guys, welcome to College Football Mission Control. We're going to show you what's going on around the networks. ABC, the Michigan game over on ESPNU. North Carolina all ready to fight against Appalachian State. Don't worry, there's tennis on ESPN2. It isn't a commercial break. That's the U.S. Open. And then Phil Dracovic back for Boston College. That and ACC Network. Just a bevy of sports activity, Anish.
We got it going Thursday with the backyard brawl. Matt was on the call for West Virginia, Pittsburgh. Craziness last night. Old Dominion knocking off Virginia Tech. Coaches stuck in the elevator. ECU on top of NC State here. App State hanging with North Carolina. 2nd down and 15 after the incompletion. 4:09 to go.
One of Devin Leary's best traits is his consistency, and thus far through the first quarter, we've now seen a couple balls thrown behind receivers that I'm sure he'd like to have back.
And more flags.
False start. Offense. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
This is something Coach Doran said yesterday. He said, if you're going to win games on the road in loud environments like this, you cannot beat yourself. And we've already seen 2 pre-snap penalties, things that are within players' controls on this drive alone.
Yeah, that was Chandler Zavala, 6th-year senior left guard. 3 6th-year players on that offensive line. On 2nd and long, ECU rushes 3, short screen. Sumo Kongbe shakes and bakes his way to the 36-yard line, and it brings up 3rd down.
Great play call by Tim Beck there. 2nd and long, no place that any team wants to be. But at that point, your idea is just to get halfback. Get it to 3rd and manageable. Calls a screen play there. Demi does a great job of getting vertical and getting some extra yards.
NC State needs to get to the 22 of ECU.
Let's hear Dowdy-Ficklen crank up right here on 3rd down.
ECU last year excelled on 3rd downs defensively. Leary's got time. Down the middle, wide open, and it's caught by Thayer Thomas. 1st down, NC State in the red zone.
And that is why Devin Leary is a big-time player. Does a tremendous job there on that 3rd and long of looking hard left to get the safety to move and then coming back knowing Thayer Thomas, his go-to guy, is going to be coming down the slot. Great play by Devin Leary and Thayer Thomas.
Jordan Houston checks back in at tailback. Leary backs into the gun. Leary on the slant, touchdown, Thayer Thomas, the 21st touchdown catch of his career. That's tied for 2nd all-time in Wolfpack history.
Yeah, tremendous job there again by Devin Leary and Thayer Thomas. These two have played a lot of ball together. They have great chemistry. NC State really has this play-action game going. They obviously want to run the ball on first and second down. They've committed to that early. Here you see Devin Leary on the play fake, really sucking up that ECU defense, getting them to step up and play the run. Thayer Thomas slipping right behind them. Great throw, great catch.
Christopher Dunn, the all-time points leader at NC State, puts it through. We're tied at 7. Only the great Torrey Holt has more touchdown catches in NC State history. Thomas now tied with Jericho Cotchery, who, by the way, I know you have a Super Bowl ring from Super Bowl 50. Jericho Cotchery caught the ball in that Super Bowl.
Absolutely, and you're looking at this list here, and I think one of the most interesting things about it is Torrey Holt was Thayer Thomas's high school coach. So we learned from the best. He's now second all-time. Congratulations to him. Well deserved.
At Heritage High School in North Carolina. Well, today we've got some appetizing matchups on the ESPN menu at 3:30. Number 11, Oregon. Number 3, Georgia. Dan Lanning, former Georgia D coordinator, now the head coach at Oregon. There's a subplot. How does Georgia replenish? Lost 15 players to the draft, 5 defensive players in the first round. And then can Marcus Freeman start his Notre Dame tenure with a win at the Shoe? Got C.J. Stroud, maybe a Heisman favorite, certainly on the short list of frontrunners going into the season, the Buckeyes quarterback.
Absolutely. That's going to be a fun one this afternoon. You know Ryan Day is going to have his Buckeyes ready to go and score some points today.
Smith will send this away. Mitchell from the 6. And driven back. Well shy of the 20-yard line. Special teams tackle by Sean Brown as we check in with Matt.
It is time for your Twisted Tea drop-in studio update, Anish, and watch Haynes King drop this one into Ewell Key. King wins the starting job for Jimbo Fisher. Big touchdown for the Aggies, that on the SEC Network, 7-0 early.
Are you buying the preseason hype on Texas A&M? Immensely talented, but young in a lot of spots.
How about I tell you in a couple weeks?
Okay.
I think they all have us captivated right now. There's been a lot of off-season buzz, but now we have to see what they do on game day.
Yeah, they brought in one of the best recruiting classes of all time. Ehlers on the slant, completes to Winstead. Flag down. It's incomplete. The ball popped out, and this could be targeting. That is a defenseless player trying to make a catch. Jakeen Harris was the Wolfpack defender. We'll take another look.
Yeah, we're looking for 2 things here on targeting. We're looking to see.
There's no foul on the second down.
You see the ref there waving it off. So he must have seen that the player was not leading with the crown of his helmet or making intentional contact to the head and neck area.
He came in with the shoulder.
He sure did. You know, you see there leading with the shoulder to that head and neck area. You know, some of these are judgment calls. They happen in real time, but obviously can be reviewed upstairs in the replay booth.
They will review this upstairs, so the replay booth can initiate targeting from upstairs. Yeah, so again, you start to look at the check marks. You mentioned, is the player defenseless? Yes. Forcible contact to the head and neck area, and you need an indicator of targeting. On that first look, I don't know if there was a clear indicator. Does he launch?
Well, what we can rule out already is the player is not leading with the crown of his helmet.
Right.
The top of his helmet and that 6-inch radius around it. So we can rule that out. Now the question is he making forcible contact to that head and neck area? And that's really in question. And at the end of the day, in order to overturn this, the replay official is going to be convinced beyond all reasonable doubt that that was targeting in order to get that flag. There can be nothing in question.
Harris gets him below the helmet.
Further review, there's no foul.
Yeah.
Second down.
That's the right call in that spot.
I agree. It really seems like that shoulder contact was kind of made, around that pectoral area. I know we're really splitting hairs there, but that is something that the refs are going to be on this year and really trying to make the right calls.
And when we say indicator of targeting, what the officials are often looking for is, does a player put his head down? If you put your head down, that is a clear indicator. And in this case, Harris did not. He clearly leads with the shoulder.
Yeah, good football play there.
So 2nd and 10, 2:31 to go, opening quarter, tied at 7. Rajay Harris, more of a bruiser in the backfield. Ehlers on that zone read. It's a give. It's Harris. He gets to the 19, a gain of 2, 3rd and 8. One of the things ECU does offensively, Brock, RPO, run pass option. There is a run attached to every passing play and a pass attached to almost every run play.
Yes, there's a lot of things at the disposal of Holton Ehlers to make the right play and to get ECU into the right situation. He can give the ball. He can throw the ball out on the perimeter. Lots of options within this offensive system.
NC State terrific on 3rd downs last year. They told us 3rd and long, they want to be at 90% or better in terms of getting off the field this year. Play clock down to 2, down to 1. Ehlers buying time over the middle, incomplete.
Tanner Engel coming up with the big play there. The guy loves to come up, make the big hit. You see that there. That's what he does. He's a physical safety. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and make a play. Does a tremendous job coming up from the safety position and forcing a punt to ECU.
A few years ago, Engel was ejected 3 times for targeting. He's really worked on making sure he's in the correct form and the correct position, and that was well-timed and cleanly done. Luke Larson will punt it away. He's wearing the same number as Ehlers. The punt is blocked. Rolling into the end zone. Who's got it? NC State's got it for a touchdown. It looks like Sean Brown who recovered it. Keon Lassane blocked the punt, and Brown, who had made a huge special teams tackle on a kickoff, now recovers the blocked punt in the end zone, and that is a big turn of events for the visitors.
Right on cue. Coach Doran said in order to get the win today on the road, special teams is going to have to play big. Well, there you have it. There's the big special teams play of the day. Tremendous job by NC State.
Actually, it was Josiah Provillan who blocked the kick. And the pendulum is swung, so ECU jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Ehlers to C.J. Johnson. NC State scores on its last drive, gets a stop, and then special teams coming through.
These are those plays that ECU is going to really have to avoid today if they're going to compete with NC State here. And like I said, on the flip side, these are those plays that NC State was expecting to make. So have to avoid it by ECU.
And Brock, we'll talk throughout this season about NC State and the depth and the experience. Special teams is an area where that shows up. You're a deep team. You got to get those guys on the field. You may have players on special teams who might be seeing the field, offense, defense, for other teams.
Absolutely. NC State, we can't talk enough about the depth that they have on this team. Offense, defense, special teams. You know, and because of that, they have talented players playing on special teams. You know, they're not just true freshmen that are out there playing. So Coach does expect big plays by his special team and his unit, and that's just something there that ECU needed to avoid, and NC State took advantage of it. Touchdown.
NC State on the sideline is wild, and they have turned down the temperature on this Dowdy-Ficklen crowd real fast.
Stadium's deflated right now. I feel like you could hear a pin drop.
Mitchell. And special teams continuing to shine for NC State. ECU will start again inside its own 20 as we look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Verbo. It's the usual suspects at the top to begin the season: Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and Clemson. We've got Georgia against number 11 Oregon later today. Notre Dame and Ohio State should be a fun one. Clemson, sky falling on Clemson last year. Oh, by the way, they went 10-3. That's now a down season in Death Valley.
Dabo will have the boys ready to roll. Very excited to see what Clemson does this year. You already touched on Kirby Smart in Georgia, seeing how they can replace that defense. Lots of great games today.
Mitchell on first down. Nowhere to go. Drake Thomas got there, no gain. Lauren?
You talk about the energy in this stadium. There was a mighty shift that just happened there. The energy from the ECU fans kind of tamed itself, and we got the Juice Squad over here. The Juice Squad waving their towels. The NC State guys that traveled that, aren't suited up today. They got their jerseys on, but man, they are rowdy, they are loud, and this is all about complementary football. You talked about that. It's offense, defense, special teams, and then camaraderie, and that's what you see out here with this entire football team today as they're bringing the juice.
Ehlers with time, moving the pocket. Tucks, runs, 35, and finally tackled shy of the 40 by Isaiah Moore. A gain of 20.
Holton's
and a
hurting.
first down for ECU, and Ehlers is down.
This is what ECU fans definitely do not want to see. Holton is the lifeblood of this team. 4-year starter, 4-time captain, local hometown hero. Never want to see this. Really hard to see what happened here. Coming in, making a good legal tackle.
He was holding his shoulder. One of the most prolific quarterbacks in the history of this program, and everybody in this building holding its collective breath. While we have a second, we'll check in with Matt Berry.
All right, I want to keep you guys updated on what's going on in Boone, and it is getting late early for North Carolina. Here, Chase Bryce to Christian Wells. Gentlemen, it is 21-7 Appalachian State. There's a reason Mac Brown didn't want to go to Boone, North Carolina at noon on a Saturday.
Oh, the Blue Ridge Mountains are pretty. That's one reason. Ehlers, helmet off on the sideline. New quarterback is Alex Finn, sophomore out of Fletcher. Got to imagine they'll run it here. They do. Mitchell up the middle, took a big hit from Thomas, and then finally brought down by C.J. Clark, a gain of 2. Brock, you talk about momentum shifts. NC State touchdown, block punt. Now your superstar quarterback has to come out of the game.
Yeah, never easy. That definitely deflates your team. You know, you saw NC State come in with pressure right there with the backup quarterback in. Not easy. Like you said, you were expecting to run. That's what we saw.
Quarter 1 in the books. Hopefully, Holton Ehlers is okay. But NC State, after a sluggish start, has picked it up. Offense, defense, and special teams. A good sign for ECU. Holton Ehlers back out there. Alex Flynn, listed as the 3rd-string quarterback, came in at the end of the first quarter when Ehlers went down hard after a 20-yard run. And Ehlers, again, one of the best QBs in school history. ECU with the ball, 2nd down, 8 to go. Pirates down by 7, 2nd quarter underway. Ehlers will come out throwing, pass is knocked down.
One of the things you got to love about Holton Ehlers is just the kid is fearless. He's tough. It's going to take a lot to get this guy out of a ball game. Love to see him back in there.
C.J. Clark got his hand on it, 3rd down.
And this is where ECU does not want to be. They do not want to be in 3rd and long against this veteran NC State defense. Be interesting here to see if NC State dials up pressure or if they want to drop more and force Ehlers to make a great throw down the field.
Only 2 down linemen. They bring the blitz. It's caught by Johnson, and he is tackled shy of the marker. Cyrus Fagan, 2nd year with NC State, transferred in from Florida State, made the play, and it brings up 4th down. That's something Tony Gibson likes to do. Get the quarterback thinking, where's the pressure coming from, and he brought the house.
That's textbook defense, and that's exactly what Tony Gibson wants to do. He wants to bring pressure. He wants to be in attack mode, but then he wants his guys to rally to the tackle and make the play, and that's exactly what NC State did there. great job getting off the field.
Luke Larson, the 30-year-old Australian who still has 2 more years of eligibility to punt for ECU. Had the last one blocked. Low snap. Thayer Thomas with a fair catch inside the 20, a 38-yard punt. Tomorrow night at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Brian Kelly will coach his first game as LSU's head coach. LSU taking on Florida State. Both teams unranked. Both teams looking to regain some lost luster. And LSU's got a quarterback from your alma mater, Brock.
Yeah, I think everyone's excited about this game. You have Mike Norvell going into year 3 at Florida State. We're going to see where he's got his program. And then obviously, like you said, Brian Kelly, opening game. Jaden Daniels transferring from Arizona State to play quarterback.
Jordan Houston gets the call on first down and is pretzeled right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Chad Stevens with the stop. 2nd and 10.
Devin Leary's done a tremendous job since the beginning of the game, really getting back on schedule and getting into rhythm. He started the game 1 for 4. Since he's 5 for 6, really starting to, I think, kind of wear off those pregame jitters that, you know, a lot of quarterbacks feel. You can tell he's settled in. He has control of the offense. He's doing a great job leading them right now.
NC State will empty it out. 2nd down. Penix and Tootle, a couple of guys that can give you matchup nightmares both in the game. Throw to the sideline, and that's Christopher Tootle, who had 19 catches a season ago, and it's 3rd and 5.
And that just speaks volumes right there to Devin Leary's accuracy. You see the ball kind of down and away, but that's a great throw because that's the only spot for his receiver to go get it so the defensive back can't make a play. Shows his arm strength and accuracy right there.
Now that was Rooks in the game, not Penix. Penix left the game after getting banged up. His return is questionable. 3rd and 5. Leary downfield for Carter, incomplete. He was covered well by the safety Wilk, and it's 4th down.
ECU dropping into max coverage there. They're not bringing any pressure. They're forcing Devin Leary to throw into very small and tight windows. And right there, ECU's defense does a tremendous job of covering all the zones and really forcing the ball. You know, there was no throw there.
Leary now 7 out of 12. McDonough punts it away. It takes a bounce at the 39. Fielded on a few hops by Fleming. And he's dropped at the 35, a 49-yard punt. ECU ball, early 2nd quarter when we come back. Last year, NC State lost more than half of its defensive starters to injuries. Most of them came back, many of them 5th and 6th year guys. Peyton Wilson injured his shoulder in the 2nd game last year at Mississippi State. He led the ACC in tackles last year, but unfortunate news for NC State. He injured part of his upper body earlier in this half. We're told his return is questionable. Now, what NC State has this year, depth. Jalen Scott, Devon Betty, those guys played last year when Wilson and Isaiah Moore were hurt.
NC State is not new to the next man up mentality, and they have plenty of players ready to step in there and make big plays for them.
Or big hits. Shaheem Battle jarred it loose from Jalen Johnson, 2nd down, as we check in with Matt.
North Carolina's got a little bit of life after this drive here. True freshman quarterback Drake May, a nice debut last week against FAMU, finds Kobe Paysor across the middle of the end zone. One-score game, 21-14 App State.
All right, thank you, Matt. 14-7, one-score game here in Greenville. Rajay Harris ran into a roadblock. White jerseys everywhere. Isaiah Moore leading the charge. It's 3rd down and 10, no gain.
Nowhere to go there, and you know, Isaiah Moore right there at middle linebacker and Corey Durden at nose tackle. You know, coach says the defense starts inside, and you can see why. Right there, they get a great push. blow back that ECU offense line, and there's just nowhere to go. That was really a get back on track down, trying to get the ball to third and manageable. But now ECU faces another 3rd and long where they do not want to be against this veteran NC State defense.
If you take away the 20-yard run by Ehlers, 7 rushes, 14 yards for ECU. Here's the blitz. Ehlers gets rid of it. It's caught. Johnson turns upfield and has it up for a first down. Jalen Johnson won a championship with Georgia last year. Began his career at Georgia as a walk-on, and he's brought a lot of intensity to the locker room. Mike Houston telling us, guys on the ECU roster thought they worked hard, and Johnson came in and said, guys, this is normal if you want to play and compete at a high level.
Absolutely. Jalen Johnson, someone that ECU has to get going in this game. He's super talented. Right there, you saw North Carolina State bringing pressure, ECU taking advantage of that. It's going to be a double-edged sword today for NC State. Either bring pressure and get to the quarterback, because if you don't, you just left your defensive backs on islands, and that's what you saw there. Holton making a great throw, Jalen Johnson making one guy miss and getting a first down.
They tried to go back to Johnson, Aiden White in coverage.
You're kind of seeing here 2 different tempo modes with ECU, and offensive coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick talked to us about that yesterday. He said, hey, we're either going to go fast or we're going to kind of play in this check with me type system, which is a little bit slower, which is what you're seeing right now.
5 wide. There's the blitz. Ehlers read it, got rid of it quickly, able to complete. It's Ryan Jones, and he's close to another first down. Give him 9.
What Tony Gibson, defense coordinator for NC State, is doing right now keeps quarterbacks up at night. He is bringing blitz 0, which essentially means he is bringing, seven guys in pressure, blitzing the linebackers, blitzing the nickel, and leaving all of his defensive backs in one-on-one man-to-man coverage. He's bringing pressure to Holton right now.
On 3rd down. Ehlers looks to the sideline. The bigger back, Harris, is in there. Ehlers moves the pocket. Able to complete. It's Winstead for a first down. That's Kerry King.
And that's the beautiful
first catch of his career.
And that's the beautiful thing about being in 3rd and short. You have your entire offense at your disposal. You can run the ball. You can throw a screen. You can roll out like you just saw there. Great job by ECU moving the pocket and letting Holton have a clean throwing lane. See Holton signaling his wide receiver.
Play action. Ehlers hits, throws, intercepted. Shaheen Battle. Out of bounds as he got across the 40. There's an ECU player down.
And that is kind of the cardinal sin of quarterback play right there. Once you decide to take off and run, it's usually best to take off and run. Once you've had to move the spot in the pocket and you set up and you throw late down the middle of the field, rarely do good things happen.
Isaiah Foote, the starting right guard, down near the 40-yard line. One more look.
You're going to see here Holton not liking his first read down the field, kind of shuffled up in the pocket. And with that offensive lineman being pushed back into his lap, that ball you see just sails off his hand, gets a little extra height on it, and ends up in NC State's hands.
2nd interception by this Wolfpack defense, and the 4th of Shaheen Battle's career. All right, Matt, 14-7, NC State here. Dave Doran looking to lead NC State to 10 wins this season and much more. A 9-win season this year. It just wouldn't feel like another 9-win season for where this program is at now. There are ACC championship aspirations, something that hasn't happened since 1979. And if you win a Power 5 conference championship, you're in that conversation for a college football playoff spot. That's why so many of these guys came back for the Wolfpack. Devin Leary takes a shot downfield, incomplete. Wanted Darrell Jones, the Maryland transfer, but there is a penalty marker with Fleming in coverage.
You had a feeling a shot play was going to come there out of the timeout. Anytime you have a turnover like that.
Offensive pass interference, number 11. Penalty. First down. 15-yard penalty.
Wow, that hurts a start to a drive, right? You're coming out, you're trying to take the shot, really trying to take the momentum over in the stadium, and you end up hurting yourself. You see here on the play, the receiver extending his arm there. Anytime you see that full extension by a wide receiver, expect to see a flag and a foul called.
Trent Penix back in there, 6 and white. Leary, flat-footed throw. It's complete, and there is Penix. Bowling balls his way back close to the original line of scrimmage, a gain of 15.
Great play call, simply just a little 5-yard and out by the tight end Penix there. A little stick route, he does a great job. Devin Leary throws the ball out in front of his target so he can catch and get upfield and go get some extra yards. That's a simple 5-yard route that goes for 14 yards. Quarterback's best friend.
YAC. Second down and 11. Edge pressure. Leary picked it up. Jones on the slant. First down, ECU territory. Hickman came on the corner blitz. It was picked up, and Leary had enough time.
Yeah, that's a tremendous job by NC State's offense there, picking up the corner pressure off the weak side. Jones running a tremendous slant route in there, kind of taking advantage of that void in the zone defense. Big pickup by NC State.
Miles Berry trying to get that defense lined up. Houston is thrown down after a pickup of 2.
You see Miles Berry getting a little fired up out there on the field, looking to the sideline, trying to get his teammates, the sideline, and these fans back into the game. Miles Berry is really the lifeblood of this defense. Extremely hard worker. Coaches were ranting and raving about him in the production meeting, saying that this guy will run a very big company one day.
Five wide. Leary gets rid of it quickly through the hands of Penix. Down to Lauren.
Guys, I want to go back to Miles Berry and just the contributor he is on this football team. His Twitter account says, "My goal was to pay my parents back." I asked him about that, and last year he actually lost his father unexpectedly right in the middle of the season, and he wanted to make sure his mom is taken care of. He told me his mom is now his wife, and he hopes to make a career in the NFL, and he's also working on his second degree right now, a master's in technology management. This coaching staff says he's going to be working in high-rises one day.
Yeah, no doubt. They love him. They rave about him. And he's part of the heartbeat of this defense. On third down, pressure. Leary hit. Incomplete, thrown behind Tootle.
What a gutsy call by defensive coordinator Blake Harrell for ECU. Brings the house in a blitz zero situation there and puts the early pressure on Devin Leary.
Now Leary looking to the sideline. 4th down and 8. Ball on the plus 40. You go for it here, Brock?
I have a feeling they're just going to try to draw ECU off sides here. I'd be shocked with a 14-7 lead if they really do snap the ball here.
Yeah, Stringer able to get back out there, and now a timeout by ECU. And that's part of the calculus here as well. Sometimes you could just make the opponent burn a timeout.
Absolutely, and on a 4th and 8, if you can pick up 5 cheap yards there and get it to 4th and short, maybe you go for it.
4th down, NC State on the other side.
ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon, is brought to you by Xfinity. Unbeatable internet, made to do anything, so you can do anything.
College football back in earnest, week 1. Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. NC State will punt after the ECU timeout. It's McDonough, the Towson transfer, who began his career at Marshall. Fair catch called for by Fleming. He'll let it bounce. And it's downed by NC State. the unsung hero of this first half. The heroes, plural, the special teams unit for the Pack.
Absolutely. Great job on flipping the field position there and really pinning them down at the 1 yard line. Great play by Devin Carter.
The Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year contest has returned. To celebrate, Taco Bell will be providing rewards to students all season long. How about the Boneyard? 13,000 plus student tickets sold. We left about an hour earlier than we would. We're staying 40 minutes away because we were worried about traffic, and it was quite the tailgate pregame scene leading into the stadium this morning.
Let's be honest, Greenville's been ready for this game all week.
Yeah, they sure have.
We go to Sup Dogs for lunch yesterday,
That's
but the
right.
line was so long we couldn't get one.
Here is Mitchell. Can he get out of the end zone? He does. Tanner Ingles been all over.
Yeah, great job by Mitchell getting something out of nothing there. Your goal here as ECU is just get one first down. Get your backs off of this goal line. Give your team some room to work. Really trying to find a first down here.
Back to Mitchell. Small opening. Makes Ingle miss. He's got the edge. He can fly. And Mitchell out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Cyrus Fagan pushed him out. And I got to tell you, Brock, if he had a little more room to maneuver on the sideline, we would still be talking.
Yeah, he might have been gone there, and that's something, just great vision there, making one miss in the hole at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that special running backs do. They always make the first guy miss, and that's exactly what you see Keaton Mitchell doing there and making a big play for his football team.
Here's the toss. And Mitchell driven out of bounds after a short pickup. So last season in the season opener against App State, Keaton Mitchell on a swing pass that went for a touchdown was clocked at 22.6 miles per hour. Now for context, if you're running a 4-minute mile, which I know you can do, you're going about 15 miles an hour. A charging elephant, 25 miles per hour.
Listen, I don't plan on challenging Keaton Mitchell to a race any day.
There's Rajay Harris through the hole.
The great thing about Keaton Mitchell is he's really starting to draw a lot of comparisons here to an ECU great Chris Johnson. And you can see why the guy's super talented. He makes the first guy miss, and he's dangerous when that ball is in his hands.
Yeah, in space, he just saw the graphic. Big plays, 5 touchdowns last year, 57 plus. 1,100 rushing yards a year ago. He's the top returning rusher in the American.
And what do coaches say? What's the one thing you cannot teach? Speed. And he has lots of it.
And as I'm learning, height. On third down, Ehlers. Incomplete for King, who wants a flag. So does the crowd. No call. Aiden White in coverage. And ECU has to kick.
At first glance, looks like a good play. Defensive back just getting there, timing that throw. As long as the defensive back doesn't get there early or impede the receiver from making a play on the ball, it's going to be a no call.
Luke Larson, 30 years old, from Australia, to punt it away.
Oldest player in college football, correct?
It's got to be up there. Thayer Thomas makes the fair catch. Flag down at the end of the play.
Into the kick. First down, timeout.
It's a hold on Derek Pitts. Devin Leary, the ACC preseason player of the year, back out there when we come back. Thank you, Matt. A couple of years ago, Appalachian State beat North and South Carolina in the same season. NC State with the ball from its own 15-yard line. Less than 5 minutes to go in this opening half. And it's Sumo Karngbae getting the call for no gain on first down. Brock, you played the position as a quarterback. You know you get the ball to start the second half. You've got less than 5 minutes to go, sort of a 4-minute drill. What's going through your mind above the shoulders?
Yeah, the idea is the opportunity for a 14-point swing. If you can milk some clock on this drive, end up in the end zone, get 7 points, receive the kickoff in the third quarter and get 7 more, that's that 14-point swing.
Line holds. Leary's pass skips on his target.
And really, this is the opportunity for Devin to shine, right? Devin Leary, a lot of preseason talk, and rightfully so. The kid is extremely talented, big arm, great decision maker, great competitor, but this is when he needs to shine, and especially in games like this. He needs to find a way to go get 7 on the board to end the second quarter and put together a scoring drive at the start of the third.
Yeah, so far just pedestrian in the opening half, 9 of 17, 103 yards, a touchdown, no turnovers. Leary stands in the pocket, finds Carter. First down across the 30, a gain of 18.
What a fearless throw, standing in the pocket, has a defensive lineman breathing right in his face and throws a strike down the field for a first down. You're going to see it here. He makes a great catch on the snap, a little outside, hangs in the pocket, and delivers a great throw to his big target, Devin Carter.
6'3", redshirt junior. They're looking for consistency from 88. Had a couple of games last year where had some issues with drops. Sumo Karngbae on the cutback across the 35. Brock, Devin Leary in the last 10 years is one of just 5 quarterbacks who put together a season with 35 or more touchdown passes and 5 or fewer picks. The other 4 on that list, Mac Jones in 2020, Justin Fields in 2019, Cody Kessler and Marcus Mariota in 2014. We're talking about some of the best at the college level when they played.
Absolutely. I'd say he's in great company, and you have to remember 3 of those guys were first-round picks in the NFL draft. So sky's the limit for Devin.
This is Sumo Karngbae, flag down. ECU player down back at the 35.
Third down.
So no flag on the play. The injured player is Josiah Robinson, Michigan State transfer. Robinson finally able to at least sit up. And they'll help him off the field. Let's check in with Matt in the studio.
All right, Anise, coming up in the Lexus halftime report, a little bit of a sluggish start for North Carolina and a little bit Virginia. We'll get you caught up on the ACC. Plus Michigan at home today trying to defend their Big Ten title. And what about Texas A&M? Preseason top 10 hype, not looking great today against Sam Houston State. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway join me coming up on our first Lexus halftime report.
All right, thank you, Matt. NC State looking for another score before halftime. Leary rolls to his right. Tucks, runs, dives ahead, and he looks to have the first down.
Smart play by Devin Leary there. ECU pre-snap was showing an all-out pressure type look. At the snap of the ball, they jumped out. Devin didn't force a throw. They kind of had a man-to-man play on. ECU dropped into zone. Devin did the next best thing, tucked it and ran.
Now they're going to mark him about a yard shy. So that wasn't a slide where you mark the ball where the quarterback begins his slide. He dove and looks to be a little short of the marker.
Now remember, the ball is down wherever that tip of the ball is when his knee or thigh touches the ground.
Now they're going to measure.
Ball is being moved 22.5 minutes.
Yeah, they just moved the ball back. Yeah, this is going to be short.
It's a first. I don't know if I've ever seen a ball moved like that.
Well, I saw where, I think it was the line judge where he was standing. And it looked to be a full yard behind. So now 4th and 1, minus 42. Brock, do you roll the dice?
Well, this is why Coach Doran gets paid the big bucks, right? These are those big decisions that you have to make in games like this. And if he's confident in his offensive line that has 4 returning starters from last season, he might say, hey, boys, hey, big fellas, go get us a yard.
And they've added 3 tight ends. Houston, the running back. Gutsy call here. NC State looking to impose its will. And a timeout.
I got to be honest. I love the call by Coach Doran. He said to us yesterday, he said, if we're going to win a championship this year, we have to go and take it. Nobody's going to give it to us. And that's the mentality you see there on 4th down.
Now let's take one more look at that spot. And again, I want to make the distinction. Leary dove. If a quarterback goes into a slide, you mark the ball where he begins the slide, but right there, the knee's down. I think that's it. So he did dive forward, but that knee goes down. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon as part of Xfinity Kickoff Week. We remind you, Monday night, Labor Day. It's the second of the Chick-fil-A kickoff games at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Dabo Swinney and number 4 Clemson taking on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, that's at 8 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7 with College Football Countdown. Clemson's got a loaded defense. Until proven otherwise, there will be questions about the offense, particularly DJ Uiagalelei.
And 1 timeout.
So the timeout was to challenge the spot. It's still short. It's still 4th down, and NC State will still line up like it's going for it. 3 tight ends. Houston is the deep back.
This is the play. Who wants it more, ECU's defensive line or NC State's offensive line?
Houston has a hole and a 1st down.
And that's it. That's leaning behind that veteran offensive line. If you return 4 or 5 starters, you got to lean on that, right? That's a core group. That's a strength of your team, and you have to give them that opportunity.
Right. And the one new starter is left tackle Anthony Belton, who takes over for the 6th overall pick in the draft, Ike Ekwonu. And what the coaches said about Belton should scare everybody in the ACC. They said Belton has emerged as the best O-lineman. Leary off play action. Trying to step up, gets rid of it, and incomplete. Had he play at the end, a forward pass to Houston, it's incomplete. But it's only a loss of down, no yardage penalty. Instead of a sack, Elijah Morris had Leary in his grasp.
Yeah, great job by Devin getting the ball out. That was a little scary, a little hairy there. You know, that could have been dicey and possible turnover, but give kudos to Devin. He made a great play, not losing the yardage and getting that ball out, not taking the sack. That's a big-time play.
2nd and 10 now from the 45 of NC State. Screen pass. Houston gets a block on the perimeter. And finally driven down by Wilk inside the ECU 40. Dylan McMahon, the right guard, out on the perimeter. to really free Houston on the screen.
Yeah, great play call there. Great job by Jordan Houston getting upfield, getting as many yards as he can on that screen play. Really playing behind his offensive line as they run down the field. And give kudos to Tegan Wilk coming up and making the play for ECU in the open field.
A minute and a half to go. Leary's got time. Looking for Carter. Incomplete off his hands. Brock, it looked like Carter slowed down on the route.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was really running through that ball like you would like to see. But, hey, Devin made a great read. When you're watching the safeties, the safety kind of slid inside on the seam route. Leary made a great play. The ball needed to go to Devin Carter. You'd love to see the big wide receiver at 6'3" stretch out and make that play there.
That's one he's got to have, right?
On second look there, the one thing that Devin did do is he kind of pushed Carter out to the sideline. That's not easy for a receiver to adjust. That throw needed to be a little bit more inside, so it was an easier catch for an open wide receiver.
Second down, this one zipped across the middle. It's Darrell Jones, the transfer out of Maryland. And that's a first down, a gain of 14. It'll momentarily stop the clock, 1:18 to go. Wolfpack with 2 timeouts. And a timeout by ECU. And I wonder if this is a challenge.
Might be. Anxious to see a replay on this. You know, the great thing for NC State right now with 1:15 on that clock, you know, the whole playbook is at their disposal right now, right? They can run the ball, they can throw it, they can call screens, they can call RPOs. They still have 2 timeouts in their pocket, so Tim Beck has his entire call sheet at his disposal right now.
They'll look at this play upstairs. Remember, the ruling on the field was a catch, so you need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call.
Looks there like Darrell Jones does a great job of getting his arms underneath that ball so it doesn't touch the ground, but he needs to maintain possession through the catch in order for that to be a catch.
Well, here's the thing with the replays we've seen, you can't really tell what happens to the ball underneath.
Yeah, and if that's the case, they're going to stick with the ruling on the field.
Yep, and that's what they do. 12th play of the drive. 1st and 10 from the ECU 24. Sumo Kongbe. Slimy Shark. Touchdown, NC State.
What a great cut right there by Demi. Really seeing his athleticism and speed. And give credit to the big man up front. Those guys opened up a big hole. Demi makes one miss right there in the box like you see, and the rest is history.
Now, we were told on the scout team last year, he opened a lot of eyes. The running back room was so deep a season ago with Knight, Person, Houston. He's getting a chance. He shined in this first half. 6 carries, 43 yards, 24 on that touchdown. And Brock, it's how easy he makes it look, the amount of broken tackles and missed tackles when number 0 has the ball. Down to Lauren.
Hey guys, I had the opportunity to talk to Bam Knight here on the sidelines. First of all, he's relishing in this because he misses the college game. He misses playing on Saturdays, but he's really excited to see these running backs step in. He said Houston's waited his turn. He's a real chill and humble guy. He never complained when he was waiting his turn. He's been patient all along. And then he's really high on Demi Sumo. He said he saw his talent last year. He knew he was going to be exceptional. He saw it in practice, and he says he's going to see him turn it up and start to be an impact player here.
And Lauren, NC State's going to need that. The questions for this Wolfpack team come on offense. Now, they seem to have an answer at left tackle with Belton. Those were big shoes to fill. They think Belton has a chance to play on Sunday. But from the skill group, who helps Devin Leary in the passing game? Can Devin Carter take that next step? We know what Thayer Thomas is. Can any of these young receivers, whether it's a Julian Gray or a Keon Lassane, step up? And who steps up in the backfield?
Yeah, and let's be honest, the biggest question mark going into the season for NC State was the running back position. And I think Demi has answered that, so has Jordan Houston today. I think NC State is just fine in their running back room, and they're proving that right now.
Short kick. And brought out across the 35. The ball came out at the end. ECU able to cover it up. 1:02 to go, one timeout for the Pirates. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. We thank you, All-State. So if you're ECU, if you can get something before halftime, a little momentum going into the locker room, and you talked about it with NC State. They got the score. If the defense gets a stop, the Wolfpack get the ball first to begin the second half, and you've got a chance to end this.
Yeah, so that was textbook by NC State's offense, right? They were trying to get a touchdown there. They know they get the ball to start the third quarter. However, what they did do is they scored with a minute left on the clock. So now ECU and Holton Ahlers get an opportunity to go out there, regain some of this momentum so that when the fans come back in for the second half, Dowdy-Ficklen can be ready to rock.
Ahlers today, 10 out of 20, but 2 picks.
For Ahlers right now, he needs to be thinking 3 things. He needs to think, listen, 2-minute drive, don't take a sack, no negative plays, right? Get a completion on this first play and find one explosive play down the field.
Against 3-man pressure. Ahlers able to complete. It's Rajay Harris. Clock will continue to run. It's a gain of 8. ECU has the 1 timeout. Owen Daffer, their kicker, hit a 54-yarder to win it against Navy last year.
Great job by Holton getting the drive started with a completion. That's all you can ask for.
On second down, again, NC State rushes 3, nearly intercepted. Almost interception number 3.
Looks like Holton and his running back there, Rajay Harris, were on different pages. Rajay wasn't quite ready for the ball. Looks like he was just making a cut, running a little Texas route back to the middle, trying to replace the middle linebacker in that void. And Holton just got rid of the ball a little bit early.
35 seconds to go. Handoff, Harris. Stopped in his tracks. It's 4th down. The clock continues to run, and now finally, it looks like timeout is called, and I believe NC State might have called the timeout.
Yeah, and that's Isaiah Moore right on cue, right? We all know he's the energy of this defense. He's the leader of this defense. Not surprised NC State took a timeout. If they can cause another issue on special teams for ECU, there's time to go get more points.
Yeah, I think that shows you the confidence they have in this defense. Hey, we may have something left here. They already have a block punt for a touchdown. They picked off 2 passes.
Listen, and Coach Doran said it yesterday. He said this is going to be a 60-minute game. You can tell he's not going to waste a single second today.
A couple of our upcoming AAC football games on ESPN+. Next Saturday, number 23, Cincinnati, fresh off a college football playoff berth. They lose a lot from that team, including quarterback Desmond Ridder, but it's the Bearcats against Kennesaw State. And then the Pirates will host Old Dominion, who last night knocked off Virginia Tech. These are just 2 of more than 25 AAC games on ESPN Plus this season. Did you see what happened to the Virginia Tech coaches? The game was delayed because they were stuck in the elevator.
Yeah, probably one of my worst fears, getting stuck in an elevator. You know, definitely not how Brent Pry wanted to start his campaign at Virginia Tech, starting with an L.
So Larson will punt. He's had 1 punt blocked today. And there was 1 sketchy snap in there as well.
Yeah, smart timeout used there by Coach Doran, right? You already have 1 block punt today. Who's to say you can't get another, or a big return by Thayer Thomas, who's one of your best playmakers on the team?
Thomas took a punt back for a touchdown against Ball State in 2019.
This will be very critical for ECU to get this punt off, but don't give Thayer a chance to return it.
Officials conferring with the East Carolina sideline. We've had some mic issues.
Game clock. Put 27 seconds. 27 seconds. The clock.
So 2 seconds added. Riley Johnson, head referee today. Larson sends this one away. And it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. NC State will have it at the 20-yard line with 18 seconds to go in this first half. The Wolfpack get the ball to begin the second half. Just take a knee here.
Knowing that NC State gets to start the third quarter with the ball, I would expect them to either just hand it off, head into halftime with this 14-point margin, possibly take a knee, but I wouldn't expect to really see anything out of NC State that could possibly put that ball back in ECU's hands.
NC State, 2 interceptions defensively in the first half. They blocked a punt for a touchdown. Devin Leary, 12 out of 22. 152 yards and a touchdown pass to Thayer Thomas. A handoff, it's Houston. Bounces to the outside, gets a block on the perimeter, cuts it back. That's a first down run. A gain of 14. It'll momentarily stop the clock with 10 seconds. NC State has a timeout. And in no particular hurry.
No, it looks to me like they're happy with this 14-point margin and going to go into halftime with it.
One of the most anticipated seasons in program history for the Wolfpack started today. They were down early. They closed the first half with 21 unanswered. To Matt and the crew in the studio.
College football is delivered by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Defense is some problem. 24/7 right now. Joe, how you feeling on your virtual lock here in North Carolina State?
Numbers at 12.5. It feels good to be up by 1.5 points.
All right.
2.5 points. What is that?
Yeah.
This halftime report is presented by Lexus. Experience amazing.
Life is for learning, and that doesn't stop with graduation. A great university goes far beyond campus. It allows you to see the big picture. A great university gives you tools, community, partnership, a launch pad. You don't just go to NC State University. You take us with you. NC State. Think and do.
This halftime report is presented by Lexus. Experience amazing.
Does Joey go 1-0 on virtual locks?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go week 1.
No stress for him. He didn't do it anymore.
No stress at all.
Et tu, Brute?
Et tu, Brute, Anish. Et tu, Brute.
Welcome back to Xfinity Kickoff Week.
ESPN College Football presented by Marathon as part of Xfinity Kickoff Week. 21-7, NC State, 13th ranked team in the country to open the season with the lead on the road against ECU. And a Schroff, Brock Osweiler, no, I'm not this tall. I'm standing on
There might be a box here right now.
There might be a box that I'm standing on. NC State threw some haymakers, speaking of boxing, in that first half. Special teams, the defense, after a slow start, picked it up, and they found something with the run game.
Absolutely. I think the thing that jumps out to me with NC State is that run game behind Demi. He's had a tremendous first half. He's putting that foot in the ground, making one cut, getting vertical, getting extra yards. And then defensively, we knew NC State was good, but what they're doing is, Holton Ahlers has made some good throws today, but those safeties are coming up. They're making that pass breakup, and they're hitting guys. And ECU's wide receivers right now, their heads are kind of on a swivel.
NC State scored before the half. They get the ball to begin the second half. Brock, you talked about it late in the first half, that 2-possession, 2-score swing. Julian Gray is taken down at the 16-yard line, pinwheeled around by that ECU special teams movement, special teams unit. First half stats brought to you by Yeti. You mentioned the run game. NC State 71 on the ground. They seem to have found something with Demi Sumo Karngbae.
Absolutely, and the coaches talked very highly of him yesterday. The thing was, he just hadn't played that much in games. And I think through the first half, we can see why the coaches were so comfortable with their running back room between Demi and Jordan Houston.
Houston, the running back, out of the pistol. He gets the call and makes his way to the 20. Down to Lauren Sisler.
Yeah, guys, talking to Coach Doran going into the locker room. Of course, he's happy his team has the lead. He feels like they're in good position, but they have a lot to learn coming out of here in the second half. He pinpointed a couple specific areas, most specifically the momentum shift. They weren't able to capitalize on those turnovers. He says we've got to do something about that. We've got to tackle better. But the thing that he said he did like, well, he likes the 4th and 1. He likes how they went for it. And he also, as you guys are talking about, Demi Sumo and his potential upside as a running back and an impact player for this football team.
Well, Lauren, they have kept it on the ground to begin this second half. A couple of runs by Houston to move the chains. And we heard so much about Sumo Karngbae a season ago as a scout team star. There was just no room for him with the depth NC State had at that position.
And that's what's going to happen at a very talented school. If you have a big-time program, it's going to be hard to get on the field because your position group is going to be super talented. But Demi's made the most of his opportunity today.
Leary to the air. Brought in with one hand, that's Penix.
Yeah, and just talking specifically about his upside, you know, I just talked to Bam Knight, as I said, in the first half, and that's a kid that really went to work in practice. He showed a lot of flashes. He loves the game of football, and it's become very apparent out here as he's tried to take the football and obviously do some things with it. So it'll be interesting to see how he and Houston kind of bounce off of each other this season.
Well, thank you, Lauren. Penix is down after the catch. Remember, he got banged up in the first half, left the game. Now, we were told at one point his return was questionable. Obviously, he came back into the game and took a big hit from Gerard Stringer, one of the safeties.
Trent Penix is certainly one of the players NC State's going to want on the field. He's extremely athletic. In fact, the kid played high school running back and even came to North Carolina State and played a little running back. So super talented, can do a lot with the ball in his hands. Hate to see this.
They've talked about him in the way you talk about a Jalen Samuels. He's not Jalen Samuels, but that ability to play tight end, H-back, catch the ball, run the football. He provides conflict for defense.
Absolutely. That's that mismatch that every offensive coordinator wants to find. They want to find the tight end that runs like a receiver. So in man-to-man situations, you can get that tight end on a lesser athlete playing safety or linebacker, which is a quarterback and offensive coordinator's best friend.
We'll step away. 13:46, third quarter. NC State with the ball and a 2-touchdown lead.
An unfortunate injury there with Trent Penix, as you can see him walking off the field now. He was slow to get up. As he was walking over here towards the sidelines, you could see he was in a lot of pain, grabbing that left wrist. They took him into the tent and then shortly thereafter pulled him out, and they just took him into the locker room for evaluation.
All right, thank you, Lauren. We'll be on the lookout. Remember last year, NC State just ravaged by injuries, most of them on the defensive side of the ball. And Penix has been banged up quite a bit today. Houston on first down, scrabbles his way across the 40, a gain of 3. Tegan Wilk, the safety, third-year sophomore, made the tackle.
ECU's in that mode of trying to create something here defensively, trying to create a spark, get this crowd back into it. You see them bringing pressure there, doing everything they can to put NC State back on their heels.
And Brock, speaking of this crowd, 51,711 in attendance today. Largest crowd in the history of Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. But they've been quiet for the better part of the last quarter. Houston tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. That's Wilk again. He's been everywhere for ECU.
Yeah.
3rd and 7.
Tremendous player there. He can really get into the box. He's physical. He's not afraid to mix it up with the big guys. You really see his toughness shine right there.
6 tackles now for Wilk.
Time for Dowdy-Ficklen to get back in the game.
Ball start. Offense. Number 52. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And Timothy McKay.
You can see right there what crowd noise can do to an opposing team. It just gets you out of your game just enough, get you thinking about something besides your assignment. And right there, Timothy McKay sends his team back to 3rd and long. Not where you want to live on the road on 3rd down.
NC State needs its own 47-yard line. Grant Gibson calling out the defense. Little 3-man twist. Leary's got time. Over the middle, incomplete, broken up by DeMel Hickman. He wanted Darryl Jones, and ECU's defense gets a stop.
Great play by the defense there, making a great break on the ball. And that's exactly what ECU needed to do to get back in this game. They needed to get a stop, get that ball back in them. You're going to see here on the replay, corner just kind of undercutting it, just right timing, getting underneath that route. You know, that's an in cut where you would really like to see the receiver come down negative and kind of come back towards his quarterback to prevent that pass breakup from happening.
5th punt of the game by McDonough. Low snap. And a line drive kick. C.J. Johnson, the fair catch at the 20-yard line. A 44-yard punt. The ECU defense with a stop. It's the offense and Holton Ahlers' turn.
Watch the left defense and watch offense next. I told Jamie.
His value cannot be quantitated, for me, because of the relationship and the way that he looks after us.
Sweat though. Yes, sir. I love you. Love you too, coach. I saw you come in there, Dawson. We were put here together for a reason at this time. And I know for a fact it was for more than just football. There'd be a lot of beeping going on. Love you, brother.
There's a bond between Dave Doran and assistant head coach Ruffin McNeil. Of course, Ruffin McNeil, beloved in these parts, played at ECU, coached at ECU. In fact, in 1977, while playing for Pat Dye against NC State, McNeil made the tackle on the final play of the game at the 2-yard line to seal an ECU win against the Wolfpack as Keaton Mitchell gets the call on 1st down. And Dave Doran talked to us about Ruffin McNeil, their bond. He's like the grandfather, McNeil, on that NC State sideline. And Lauren, there's a lot of mixed emotions for Ruffin McNeil coming back as a visitor to this place.
There's no doubt about it. He said, I've never even been in the visiting locker room, so a new perspective for him. And he said when he rode the bus over to Greenville, he didn't know how to feel. He has so much love for the guys that are on his sideline, but he has so much love for ECU and Coach Houston over there as well. But he said, when I asked him before the game, how you feeling now, Coach? And he said, well, you know what? Competitive spirit, let's lay the ball down, let's go compete. And it's been nothing but love on the sideline. Watching him with these players, the way that he engages, a lot of I love yous, just, contact, eye contact, making sure these guys are in check. And you can see these guys rally around him, and he makes a big difference for this football team.
TFL there by Isaiah Moore. Great story this week on ESPN.com by Andrea Adelson, detailing why Ruffin McNeil joined Dave Doran's staff. McNeil wanted to be closer to his ailing dad who has dementia. Dave Doran can relate. He has a father battling Alzheimer's. On 3rd down, Ahlers is hit. The slant is caught for a 1st down. Isaiah Winstead, the Toledo transfer.
What a play by Ahlers, just standing fearless in the pocket. He knows he has a free runner at him. NC State's bringing pressure. They're bringing one more than ECU can block. Doesn't bother Holton. He stands in the pocket and delivers a great ball for a 1st down. That's quarterback play at its finest.
You got to love that, right? When you know you're going to get hit, but you get rewarded. On first down, Mitchell. There's no Northwest passage for him.
Listen, you got some grown men playing in the trenches for North Carolina State and at their linebacker core. It's going to be tough sledding for ECU to get this run game going. Might be time to turn this game over to Holton Ahlers and really put that ball in his hand and let him sling it around the yard.
Savion Jackson in the backfield. The danger there, as we've seen, Brock, Ahlers has thrown a couple of interceptions already, and you're playing into Tony Gibson's hand as well.
Yeah, I think the key there, though, is do what Holton does best. Give him some breather plays, some plays he doesn't have to think about too much, plays that he knows like the back of his hand.
NC State showed blitz. They bring 4, and Ahlers able to complete. It's Winstead again. Another first down to move the chains. A gain of 12, flag down. It's going to be a face mask.
Defense number 14.
You know, and that goes back to what Coach Doran said to us yesterday. We cannot beat ourselves. And when you start having penalties like that, that is beating yourself. So you would expect a little bit more out of your veteran defense. But, hey, give credit to ECU. They're starting to get into a rhythm and trying to fight back into this game. Isaiah Winstead, you see there with another catch. Big talent. Ton of athleticism.
A face mask penalty on Derek Pitts, a 6th-year senior. 6 penalties for NC State. ECU clean. Mitchell, can he get the edge? He does. And takes a big hit, punished. And it might be a late hit, flag down. Now this has been a gift-wrapped drive so far.
The contact started inbounds, so therefore there is no foul on the play for late hit out of bounds. Second down.
Talk about really flirting with the difference of playing aggressive, playing hard, playing physical, and playing smart. Unfortunately there.
They just showed the replay.
Oh.
And Brock.
Yeah, that looks pretty
it.
late to me. Yeah. It's clear right there. You know, Keaton Mitchell's obviously in the white, which once you hit the white, you can't hit the player. So looks like we have NC State's getting a little luck to bounce their way here with a missed call there. That looked pretty clear cut and late.
Ahlers will take the snap. Quick out. Got it over the DB, Tyler Baker-Williams. And it's Isaiah Winstead again for a first down.
You're seeing Ahlers make some NFL-level throws there, right? Far hash, going all the way across the field, throwing over the defender. Listen, when you get to the next level at the NFL, guys aren't open. You got to throw them open, and you have to throw them into windows, and that's what Ahlers is doing on this drive. Very impressive.
A give to Rajay Harris, straight up the gut. Taken down by Drake Thomas. ECU in the red zone. That's what Harris does. Mitchell's the guy who can get on the perimeter with his speed, and Harris can soften up the defense on the inside.
Yeah, you can see Harris playing with some juice there. He's really fired up. You know, it looked like he wanted to keep that momentum going and get some carries like all good players do, but great to see that 1-2 punch get going.
Johnson is in the slot here on 2nd and 3. Nickel blitz, fade, incomplete. Pitts in coverage, intended for Winstead, and Ahlers is looking to Isaiah Winstead, number 11, quite a bit here on this drive.
Ahlers found his go-to receiver on this drive, Winstead, in a man-to-man situation, gave the big guy an opportunity to make a play. almost came up with it there, but credit Derek Pitts with really squeezing that receiver to the sideline and making that reception window very small.
3rd and 3.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see a run here. I would assume this is possible 4-down territory depending on the situation.
NC State loading up the box. This one is caught near side. Winstead at the 1. 1st and goal, ECU.
Feed the big man. Coming up with another great reception. Textbook back shoulder play once again, catching North Carolina State in man-to-man defense and just feeding the big fella out there on the perimeter.
Calhoun, the tight end, lining up in the backfield. Harris, the running back. Now they score here. Dowdy-Ficklen will erupt. Ehlers, end zone, caught by C.J. Johnson, and no signal. They say he didn't get in. He got maybe a half yard. Joshua Pierre-Louis preventing the touchdown. 2nd and goal from the 1.
Boy, talk about a game of inches right there.
Close to look at this. Does that ball cross the plane at any time?
What I love about that play right there is Ehlers saw that NC State was once again playing man-to-man, and he signaled out to his 2 receivers, changed the play at the line of scrimmage to try to take advantage of what NC State was doing. I love the command that Ehlers has right now.
While they take a second look, we'll step aside. ECU knocking on the door. A replay review concluded the ruling on the field would stand. There was not indisputable video evidence that C.J. Johnson broke the plane. It was close. Call on the field was not a touchdown. So another chance for ECU. Ehlers stuffed. He lost about a half yard. So now it's 3rd and goal. And these situations, the 3rd and 1s, the 3rd and 2s last year, NC State was historically good.
Absolutely. They were fantastic on 3rd and 4th and short. One of the best teams in the country. This 3rd down is going to come down to an attitude play. It's whoever wants it more in the trenches. Is it North Carolina State's defensive line? Is it ECU's offensive line? This is why you put all those hours in the weight room in the offseason. Man versus man right now.
ECU feels it has the best O-line in Mike Houston's 4 years. Ehlers, end zone, wide open, Calhoun, touchdown Pirates.
We got a ball game. You got to love what offensive coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick dials up here. I think everybody in the world thought it was going to be an attitude play, a run. He fools everyone. Great play action. Gets North Carolina State's defense to really suck in there. And a layup throw by Holton Ehlers to get his team back in the ball game.
The PAT by Dapper is good. 13 plays, 79 yards, using 6.5 minutes of clock. Ehlers to Shane Calhoun.
Yeah, and you're going to see here, right, you know, ECU's got the big back in the game. They got Rajay Harris. Everyone in the stadium thinks it's a run. Donnie Kirkpatrick fools us all. Great play action by Ehlers. Great sell. Pops the ball up, makes it very catchable for his big tight end.
Mike Houston telling us yesterday how special it was for the upperclassmen on this team to see this crowd and this atmosphere. He told us when he took over as head coach, this was a deflated team. They had just lost to NC State 58-3. The fan base was down. He said, our seniors have seen it all. And when we take the field with 50,000 plus, in fact, a record-breaking crowd today, it means a lot. you have to channel the emotion, and they came out with a score to begin the first half. They get the first score of the second half, and here they are with the number 13 team in the country about to make this a 4-quarter game.
Emotion is the word right there.
And a touchback on the kick. And we touch down to Bristol and Matt Berry.
Guys, thank you. Matt, Jesse, and Joey back in studio. Joe, give me something for the people to watch here on this box.
I like tennis. I'm a tennis fan.
Jess, what about you?
UNC Drake May just led his team back. They were down 21-7, a huge comeback against App State.
And Ace, this is what we do. It's basically like a sports bar in studio. Join us for all 4 of these networks and watch sport.
Yeah, just don't let me see any red cups on the set. .5:17 to go in the third, and now it's Devin Leary's turn, Brock.
It is, and I think the big thing for North Carolina State right now is they need to find a way to stay on the field. They need to start converting third downs. They don't have a great conversion rate right now.
And they just got a delay of game.
These are the things as a veteran offense you cannot do, and especially on the road. You know, this really falls on Devin Leary's shoulders to get his offense lined up at the start of the drive and not take a delay of game penalty and put your offense 5 yards back to start your drive.
Leary fakes the toss, tries to escape, can't. It's a loss of a yard. And did he lose the ball? No, the official puts 2 fingers up. So NC State does not turn it over. The ball did come out, but the Pack recover. Gerard Stringer and J.D. Lampley in the backfield. And this game is starting to turn. You can feel it.
This is what ECU wants. They want to get North Carolina State off schedule, and they've done that now with a 2nd and 16 coming up.
Leary underneath, incomplete for Houston. It's 3rd and long. And Dowdy-Ficklen has woken up.
Yeah, the fans are back into it. The defense is flying around for ECU. You can see the energy on the field right now. It's spectacular.
Five wide, 3rd and long. Leary completes to Thomas. This will be close. Right at the 35. This is going to be enough. NC State had been just 2 of 8 on 3rd downs, and that's why you have a Devin Leary, one of the top quarterbacks in college football.
Yeah, what a tremendous throw by Devin here. Going to his go-to target, Thayer Thomas. On-time throw. Great route, way to hang in the pocket by Devin. You know, that's a play that takes some time to develop downfield. He didn't rush it, he didn't panic, made a great throw, big time first down.
4 catches for Thomas. Houston breaks a tackle, churns across the 40, brought down by Stringer, a gain of 7.
Boy, I tell you what, it doesn't matter if it's Demi or Jordan Houston. These NC State running backs are running hard today. They're making one cut. They're lowering their shoulder. They're getting as many yards as they can. It's been very impressive to watch these guys play who haven't had much experience on the game field.
Thomas and Rooks in the slot. Substitutions for ECU. They'll rotate in 9-10 up front. Toss to Houston. Rooks seals the perimeter with a block. Thomas another block. Brock, you got to love it if you're a running back. Your wide receivers getting dirty.
Absolutely, and that's when you know you have a great wide receiver room. They're not just going to run routes for you. They're going to get involved in the run game and lay out some good blocks, and that's when you know you have a great offense.
A first down run, and NC State into ECU territory, looking to stunt some of this Pirates momentum. ECU's brought the crowd back into it. Play action. Leary downfield. Lassane open. Makes the catch.
Great throw by Devin Leary down the field. Really had two options there. He could have taken the post down the middle, or he could have taken the sail route like he did. You see just an absolutely perfect throw. Drops it in a bucket. Tremendous catch there by Lassane. Big time pickup by the Wolfpack.
Lassane earning a starting job this year. Only 8 catches last year. 4th-year player with speed. Demi Sumo Karngbe to the outside. Cuts it back. Dives across the 20. Fleming with the tackle.
And I think you're seeing NC State at what they do best, right? They want to run the ball first, and then off of that, have their RPO and play action game. You're seeing all of that this drive, and I love what Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, is doing. He says, listen, I have a big, strong veteran offensive line. I'm going to put the game in their hands right now.
Sumo Karngbe again. And it sets up 3rd down. We come up on a minute to play in the 3rd.
This is an offensive coordinator's best friend right here. 3rd and short. You got your full playbook at your disposal. You can run the ball, you can throw the ball. Because depending on situation, this could possibly be 4-down territory.
Two tight ends. Leary hands it off. Sumo Karngbe ran into his own man. Breaks free. Inside the 10. 1st and goal, NC State. And what a counterpunch by the Wolfpack after ECU had made this a 1-score game. They're inside the 10-yard line when the 4th quarter begins, unless they run one more play here in the 3rd.
And this is how great teams counter back. They say, okay, you score a touchdown, you're going to get your crowd back into it. Well, you know what we have? We have a strong running back and a great offensive line and a darn good quarterback. We're going to let those guys go to work this drive, and it's all happening behind that great offensive line.
We asked Dave Doran yesterday, where does experience show up? You just watched it. Experience showing up for NC State. 1st and goal, Pack, when the 4th quarter begins.
Who you think gon' win? If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win?
Soon to be Big Ten bound UCLA. 1st and goal, NC State. And make it 2nd and goal. That's Julian Gray, like a whirligig.
Yeah, Julian's a player that coach really said yesterday, doesn't have a ton of game experience, but we want to get him out there as much as we can. He's super talented, and he had a tremendous fall camp.
Wolfpack will bring in 3 tight ends here, Brock. Tootle, said Sebro, Pro-Villain. Houston, the deep back. Little naked boot. Leary throws back of the end zone. Too high for Pro-Villain.
Smart play there by Devin. Nobody was open in the end zone or even short of it. Does the next best thing, sails it over his receiver's head where either he's going to catch it or no one else. Very smart play by Devin Leary, not forcing anything.
3rd and goal from the 2. On the road, 7-point lead. Do you view this as 4-down territory?
With what NC State is trying to accomplish this year and the mentality of the team of taking things, I would expect so.
Houston surges ahead. The ball may have come out. It did, and ECU has it. Gerard Stringer recovered the fumble.
And just like that, things can shift. You're going to see here Jordan Houston with the carry, fighting for extra yards. Hard to see if that knee was down, but boy, sure things looks like they popped out. Maybe his elbow touched the ground.
They're going to look at this. It was hard to see the knee, and remember, here's what's important. The ruling on the field was a fumble. So now you need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call. Hard to see his legs there, but I don't think his legs go down, Brock. The question is the elbow.
Well, and that's the key. It's what you just said. It has to be indisputable video evidence. The ruling is already a fumble, and right here it looks like his legs and thighs kind of get thrust into the air off an opponent. The big question is that elbow down before the ball comes out?
The replay booth will sort it out. Big reveal on the other side. A replay ruled the fumble by Houston was recovered by ECU. The call stands. There was not indisputable video evidence to overturn the call. The ball is in his right arm. The left elbow comes down. You can never quite see if that left elbow was down when the ball's coming out.
Yeah, once again, it needed to be indisputable. You can kind of see an elbow almost landing on someone's cleat, so it really looks like it never touched the ground. Ball's out.
Now ECU's got to go 99 yards. Ehlers from the gun. He's going to throw. Pumps. Hit. Throwing downfield. Incomplete. Underthrew it. Intended for Aiden White. And Brock, in the commercial break, I said, got the ball at the 1 yard line, and you said, hey, I'd love to take a shot down here.
And you looked at me like I had 3 heads. I love the call by offensive coordinator
That's just because you're so much taller than me.
You know, they're playing fearless. They're playing to win the game. Tried taking a shot down the field with the go route and man-to-man. Came up a little short.
This time they'll try to run it. And through the chaos, a short pickup for Rajay Harris. And again, ECU's not out of the woods. It's 3rd down. They're backed up. Shadow of their own end zone against one of the most talented, experienced, and deep defensive units in the country.
Yeah, the key here for Holton is to realize this is not his final drive of the game, right? So he needs to be smart. He's backed up. He needs to make a quick decision and get the ball out of his hands so that he doesn't cause an issue being backed up.
Ehlers will throw. Deep downfield. Wants Johnson. Nearly intercepted by White.
Boy, Johnson had a step there. If Holton was able to get that ball out a little bit out in front, I think he would run underneath it.
And remember, now ECU will punt from its own end zone. Earlier in the first half, Larson had a punt blocked. It was recovered in the end zone by NC State. And that right now is the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, and you know NC State right now, they're salivating trying to go get another one. I would suspect they're going to bring all-out pressure here and see if they can get the second one of the game. ECU needs to get this off really quick.
Larson about a foot from the back line of the end zone. Thomas fields it at the ECU 42. Slipping a couple of tackles. He's got the 30. Premium starting field position for NC State. Special teams has been the difference in this ball game.
Absolutely, and both coaches talked about that to us yesterday. They knew it was going to come down to special teams.
Tonight's Aflac trivia question. Devin Leary has multiple passing touchdowns in 10 straight games. In the last 10 years, only 2 ACC quarterbacks have had longer streaks. Who are they? By the way, Leary needs one more touchdown pass to extend that streak. I think Sam Howell might be one. Leary's got time. Into the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Porter Rooks, who was double covered. Jawan Powell and Wilk out there for ECU.
Am I allowed to answer that question yet?
Go ahead. Yep.
I'm going to throw out maybe Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence, potentially.
I like that one.
Leary, little Statue of Liberty. Sumo Karngbe breaking tackles and gets all the way down to the 2-yard line. Is this guy cut from Damascus Steel?
I think the Wolfpack have found their running back. What an incredible run by Demi. The guy refuses to go down. He's running with attitude. So fun to watch this afternoon.
He's been shifty, he's been slippery, he's been physical. Now, he's been the complete package. There's an injured ECU player down on the field, and it is Tegan Wilk, who's been one of their best players defensively today. 1st and goal for NC State. They're back on the 1-yard line. We'll also answer the trivia question on the other side.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon. Get the most out of your drive.
ESPN College Football presented by Marathon, part of Xfinity Kickoff Week. Anish Shroff, Brock Osweiler, new member to our ESPN family, and Lauren Sisler down on the sideline. ECU has given NC State all it can handle today, but the Wolfpack with a chance to go up 2 scores. 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. In the second half, the Wolfpack averaging almost 6 yards per carry. And they've got Demi Sumo Karngbe as the deep back in the pistol. 81 yards today and a touchdown. ECU crowding the box. Sumo Karngbe is stuffed. 2nd and goal.
You know, I'm just so impressed with the North Carolina State resilience, right? They're down on the 1-yard line not too long ago. There's a fumble. Defense comes out. They hold ECU. They have a big special teams play to get great field position, and now they're knocking on the door again. That's what great veteran teams do.
Sumo Karngbe again, plunging toward the goal line, and he's going to be a little short. 3rd and goal, and it was 3rd and goal last time when Jordan Houston fumbled from the 1-yard line.
You know, I can't blame Tim Beck coming out with the first 2 plays down here on the 1, giving it to the hot hand with Demi. But now it's time to give it to your 3rd-year starter at quarterback and put the ball in Devin Leary's hands and let him make a play outside to one of his big receivers.
Jones, the receiver, on the outside. And a whistle before the snap.
There's no foul. We're resetting short of the...
You got to love when you're wrong. I say, hey, it's time to put it in Devin Leary's hands. Let him throw it outside to one of his big receivers. Looked like it was about to be a quarterback sneak there, which you got to love the attitude play behind the big offensive line.
Yeah, and I believe they're resetting the ball. The nose of the ball. A foot away from that goal line. Pistol. Same formation. Toss to Sumo Karngbe. And another whistle. A timeout by ECU. And the drama builds. All right, it gives us an opportunity to answer the Aflac trivia question. What was your final answer, Brock?
The final answer I was going with was Deshaun Watson.
Okay, as one of the two. What does the survey say? Kenny Pickett and Sam Howell. So both drafted Earlier this year, Pickett was first-round pick of the Steelers. Howell, a fifth-round pick of the Washington Commanders. Third down and goal from the 1, 11:05 to go, fourth quarter. The difference in this game, a block punt recovered for a touchdown by NC State in the first half. ECU scored the first touchdown of the game, 3 straight by NC State. Wolfpack still looking for their first score of this second half. Demi Sumo Kongbe is the running back. Leary under center. Sumo Kongbe fighting forward. Is he in? No. 4th and goal. Emmanuel Hickman prevented the touchdown. You got to go for it, Brock, don't you?
Well, you don't have to. At the end of the day, a field goal does make this a 2-score game in the fourth quarter. But going back to what I said earlier, Coach Doran said we're going to have to take what we want this season, and this would definitely be an attitude play to show to your team we're going to go take this game right now.
The field goal puts you up 2 scores. I got to believe Dave Doran has a ton of faith in his defense. Even if they don't get it, they're going to look upstairs and review that last play. Again, indisputable video evidence is needed to overturn the call on the field, which was that Sumo Kongbe was stopped short.
See if that ball crosses that white line. Any piece of the ball crosses the white, it's a touchdown. From that angle, it sure doesn't seem like it gets there.
You can't tell. And sometimes that's what these replay reviews come down to. They may just not have the angle, and if you're not able to tell, you default to the call on the field.
Absolutely, and to your point about what Coach Doran might do, you know, if this is not called a touchdown, and you're right, if he goes for it, even if NC State doesn't get it, like you said, he has tremendous faith in his defense that returns 10 starters from last year.
And again, verbiage is important here. When you hear stands, that's not confirmed. Stands means maybe he got in, but we can't tell if he did conclusively. Confirmed, obviously, would say he was conclusively short and did not get in.
Correct. There's no indisputable evidence that he got in. Cannot call it a touchdown because of the ruling that was initially made.
Here we go. 4th and goal. NC State will go for it. Sumo Kongbe, second-year running back in the game with Devin Leary at quarterback. Sumo Kongbe hit, driven back, ECU standing tall.
What a stop. Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium is roaring right now. It's rocking. And what else would you expect from a rivalry game? These two schools separated simply by 83 miles. And now we have ourselves a ball game midway through the fourth quarter. What else can we ask for?
This NC State offensive line returning 4 starters, 3 sixth-year starters on that O-line. And this ECU defense standing up like the walls of Constantinople.
The one thing Coach Houston did say yesterday in the production meetings was, we are bigger, faster, and stronger than ever before. You saw that strength on ECU's defensive line right there.
Still plenty of time to go. From the 3, Ehlers, screen pass, C.J. Johnson. Could not get very far, maybe the 5, the 6-yard line. A gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. And for ECU now, it's imperative to get a first down. Otherwise, you're going to give NC State another short field.
It is, and your defense is tired, right? They've been out there a lot in this second half. They need some time to get some water, catch their breath on the sideline. it's very critical that ECU puts together a couple first downs here and gets the ball moving. And you know what? If you're Holton Ahlers, what else could you ask for? This is your hometown. This is your school. Fourth quarter, in-state rival, chance to go tie the ball game.
Ahlers looks to his running back. Mitchell and gulped for a loss. Back at about the 2-yard line, Shaheem Battle. And Battle with his helmet off down in the end zone, slow to get up for the pack. Now this has been a physical game. Holton Ahlers took a big shot early. Trent Penix got dinged up twice. He's out of the game.
Yeah, there's been some big-time collisions today. You know, we've been able to hear the pads pop a little bit, and I promise you, we're pretty high up in the stadium, and I think it just goes to show how much this game means to both teams.
I'm surprised there wasn't a booth call for targeting there. At least a replay review. Ahlers backpedals. Throws over the middle. It's caught. Jalen Johnson. First down ECU to the 23-yard line. A gain of 20 and much needed breathing room for the Pirates.
And that is why Holton Ahlers is considered a gamer, right? That's what one NFL scout said to me this week. They love his moxie, how he can extend plays with his feet. He's big and strong. I love that he didn't give up on the play, right? He got moved out of the pocket, but he did a tremendous job of keeping his eyes downfield and finding his receiver that found the soft spot in the zone defense.
Delayed pressure. Ahlers completes. C.J. Johnson still going, and he's to midfield. A gain of 26.
Holton Ahlers just taking great advantage of what NC State's doing. Right there, he catches them in man-to-man defense and goes to C.J. Johnson, his old high school teammate. Obviously, their chemistry is high, and throws a perfect back shoulder play that only his receiver could make a play on. Great throw.
Two kids from Greenville, D.H. Conley High School, 15 minutes from Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. Ryan Jones in motion. Ahlers will try to run. Flag down. This could be coming back.
Holding, offense number 52. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's Parker Moore, the West Virginia transfer, and that is just the first penalty of the afternoon on ECU.
Yeah, they've really played a clean ball game when it comes to penalties, and obviously there probably couldn't have been worse timing for that first foul to come. Definitely sets a drive back, but it is still first down, and now the key for Holton is don't panic, just try to slowly get half back and make this a manageable third down when you get to that time.
Screen pass. Jones clipped immediately by Aiden White. Ryan Jones, 4 in purple, a transfer from Oklahoma where he played defense for Lincoln Riley. Now in his second season with the Pirates, an NFL prospect at tight end. And there's an injured Wolfpack player now down at the 43-yard line. It is White who made the tackle. While the trainers attend to Aiden White. We'll take a break. ECU on the move. 6:58 to go in regulation. This is the American Conference on ESPN as part of Xfinity Kickoff Week. It's been a fun, physical battle here at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. ECU trailing NC State by 7. We've got great football on the way. Oregon, Georgia starting in about 10 minutes. How do the Dogs replace 5 first-round draft picks on defense? Notre Dame, Ohio State from the shoe tonight. Both games on ABC. On second down, Ahlers, open sesame. He's got room into NC State territory, a gain of 18. Jalen Scott finally took him down. Ahlers has been the most effective rusher for the Pirates today.
Absolutely. We know that this is a big part of his game. And he's not afraid to run. His teammates and coaches say he is fearless and as tough as a football player comes. I'm not surprised that they're dialing up some planned runs. That was a planned quarterback draw for him there. Great job, great call at the right time.
3rd down, 4 to go. Here's the pressure. Ehlers hit. Downfield, incomplete for Jones. And now it's 4th down. You are in plus territory, and Mike Houston told us, you get across the 50, we look at it as 4-down territory. Do you go for it?
Absolutely, and especially here because you don't know if you're going to get the ball back. You know, the way Demi's running the ball for the Wolfpack and that veteran offensive line, you know, NC State could get the ball back and run out the clock. So I think this is a situation where it is an absolute must. You go for it.
Six-man pressure. Ehlers going long. Incomplete for Johnson. And the Wolfpack defense comes up with another big play.
What a huge stop by Tony Gibson's defense. NC State comes out and plays man-to-man there. ECU's not able to take advantage of it.
Find something that makes you as happy as Matt Barry saying boon. Jordan Houston got the call on 1st down, man down for ECU. I know you want to go back to that 4th down call for the Pirates.
Yeah, I'm sure Donnie Kirkpatrick would love to have this call back. You know, this isn't exactly the play I would call here in this situation. It's 4th and short. You catch North Carolina State in man-to-man. You want to take advantage of a higher percentage completion, right? Maybe call a pick play with your 2 receivers, right? So they can rub those defenders off. And it's more of a layup, kind of gimme completion to your quarterback, maybe a quick slant. But that go route down the field usually isn't a high percentage call. You know, like I said, I'm sure Donnie would like to have that one back, especially in a 4th and short man-to-man situation.
Deontay Johnson, big sophomore run stopper down for ECU. Today's weekend wake-up brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Rod Gilmore, Dave Fleming will have the call for Cincinnati, Arkansas coming up next on ESPN. You look at Rod's keys for Cincinnati against the SEC, be physical and stop the run. We all remember how Alabama kept the game plan simple and ran a lot of Brian Robinson right at that Bearcats defense in the college football playoff semifinal.
That's exactly what they did. They just imposed their will. They said, listen, Cincinnati, we are bigger, we are stronger, and we are going to run the football today. That's what Alabama did. I wouldn't be surprised to see Arkansas going with the same mentality. I love what Sam Pittman is doing there at Arkansas right now. Big quarterback in KJ Jefferson. Excited to watch him this year. And I'm sure Luke Fickell will have his Bearcats ready to roll.
ECU has been ready today against an NC State team with great expectations. And the Wolfpack looking to hang on with 5.5 to go and a 1-score lead. Leary to the air. It's intercepted! Picked off by ECU. And the Pirates bring it back inside the 30 of NC State. Jairo Wilson with the INT.
And Dowdy-Ficklen is back on their feet. Here you see Devin Leary, 3rd-year starter, just unfortunately making a poor decision down the field. Possible miscommunication with his wide receiver. Looks like the ball's behind him. But nevertheless, that was a great play by Jairo Wilson. And that is exactly what the Pirates needed.
ECU is 3-1 all-time against NC State at Dowdy-Ficklen. They beat Russell Wilson in 2010. They beat Ryan Finley in 2016. Harris, a short gain, gets to about the 25-yard line. A gain of 2, 2nd and 8, and the Wolfpack again will have to lean on this defense, which has bailed them out in the second half. NC State has yet to score in the second half.
Absolutely, and you know, Coach Doran said it. He said, listen, if we're going to win on the road, we cannot beat ourselves, and you're slowly starting to see that with some turnovers in the second half. Now it's time for ECU to play complementary football and take advantage of this and get the ball in the end zone.
Ehlers floats it downfield, incomplete for Johnson. White in coverage, a flag is down. Now another one comes.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty clear-cut hold there.
Pass interference, defense, number 3. That's an automatic first down.
It's the largest crowd in the history of Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium.
You see him right there just tugging on Jalen Johnson's jersey, holding them up. That's going to be an easy call for the refs all day. Can't do that. Got to keep those hands tight.
ECU, a 7-win team last year. They won 4 of their last 5. Ehlers, sidearm sling. Jones makes the catch, breaks the tackle, powers inside the 10. He's to the 7-yard line.
What an athletic catch by Ryan Jones. Ehlers does a tremendous job. Once again, he's getting all-out pressure. Tony Gibson is not afraid to bring the blitz. That's what he's doing. Ehlers gets the ball out. Ryan Jones does a tremendous job of, first of all, securing the catch and then making one-man miss and getting some yards after.
A gain of 5, 2nd and 5 from the 7. Jones, the motion man. Rajay Harris. He's going to be close to a first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short.
You know, the beauty in this situation is it's 3rd and 1 from the 3. ECU can get another clean slate of fresh downs here if they can just pick up this first down and get themselves back to 1st and 10, creeping in on the goal line.
We saw ECU come up with a couple of goal line stands. Now the Wolfpack will look to count on its defense. The Pirates have not led since it was 7-0. Harris, touchdown! And ECU is a PAT from tying this game. No good, he missed it! He pulled it! Daffer missed the kick!
You can't make this up.
Wow! ECU fans in stunned disbelief. Owen Daffer was a first-team all-conference kicker. He misses it wide. There is some rain starting to come down.
And you can see there, it was very interesting. Unfortunately, the holder was not able to get those laces out of the way. and it looks like Daffer was having to deal with a ball kicking into some laces.
If you've seen Ace Ventura, you know what that's about.
Laces out, Dan. Laces out.
Do you think about an onside kick here, or do you try to rely on a defense that's played a lot of snaps in the second half?
You know, once again, that's why Coach Houston gets paid the big bucks, but I think you need to send this one deep and force Devin Leary and the NC State offense to make good decisions, sustain a drive, convert third downs, because you still have 2 timeouts in your back pocket if you're ECU.
NC State playing for the onside kick. And they'll take it out at the 25. Drama in Greenville. What do you got, Matt, in Bristol?
I'll take that drama, and I'll raise you North Carolina and Appalachian State. Cam Peoples brings Appalachian State all the way back. This thing looked like it had gone all Tar Heels. Right now, we're an extra point away from 49 all, 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. If you're waiting for Cincinnati, Arkansas, that game, Ben Bryant, the Bearcats, and Wu Pig Sui, we're going to start that on ESPN News. We'll bring it over here to ESPN, Anish, when you guys go final.
Matt, for an ACC looking to regain some national luster. Both of these games, what's going on in Boone and here in Greenville as Houston gets taken down for a loss, certainly worrisome for the Atlantic Coast Conference. ECU, App State, now they've got their slingshot ready. A timeout. 1 left for the Pirates. 2:44 to go. 2nd and 13. And if you're NC State, you got to look into your quarterback's eyes right now, don't you? Devin Leary, top 10 quarterback in college football. He's the guy. ACC preseason player of the year. He may have to make a play or two.
Absolutely he does. He is the leader of this football team. We heard it all preseason. We've heard it time and time again. The team is going to go as Devin goes. So now it is time for the third-year starter to take control, look his teammates in the eyes and say, guys, listen, that pick was my bad, but don't worry. I brushed it off. I got you. Let's go put a drive together and seal this game.
You just start to look at what's happened to this conference early. Virginia Tech lost last night to Old Dominion. Boston College lost today to Rutgers.
You know, I think a lot you have to talk about the transfer portal, right? Obviously, there's great programs and great coaches, but now guys are able to basically go into free agency in the offseason and grab some players from big-time programs that maybe weren't getting the playing time that they were wanting.
Leary downfield, incomplete for Lassane. It is 3rd and long.
Devin had the target that he wanted there. Lassane ran a tremendous route. He did a little post corner and then coming back to the sideline. Unfortunately, Devin just overshot him.
Now, NC State today has not been good on 3rd downs, but at one point they were 3 of 4 on 3rd and long. Edge pressure, the screen. Houston breaks the tackle, upended at the 25. And the Wolfpack will have to punt. Jawan Powell made the play. And ECU will get the ball back and could have a chance to win it.
Yeah, great job by ECU's defense rallying to the screen there. Just trying to get the ball in a playmaker's hand in space. But the Pirates rally, make a great open field tackle, and force NC State into a punt.
A timeout is called. 4th quarter, 2:37 to go. We look at today's road test brought to you by Goodyear as ECU has used its final timeout. And the Wolfpack, the Boneyard has been a house of horrors. They've got a few Wolfpack skulls, 3 to be exact. Devin Leary has not played his best game today. And ECU has hung around, and they'll get the ball back with about 2.5 to play. Shane McDonough will punt from his own 10-yard line. Malik Fleming waits at the ECU 35. Fleming dropped shortly after he made the catch inside the 40. There is a flag near midfield.
Here return, illegal block in the back by the return team, number 3. The penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Anish, I got to be honest, man, this is starting to set up like a Hollywood movie, right? Holton Ahlers, local kid from Greenville, hometown hero, had a scholarship offer to NC State, turned it down to stay home and try to turn around this ECU program. And now with 2:27 to go in the game, the ball is in his hands to go win this football game.
A chance to knock off a top 15 NC State team that got the second most votes to win the ACC behind Clemson. Ahlers' dad, the PA announcer here at Dowdy-Ficklen, Captain Morgan. From the 29. Ahlers to his running back, Mitchell, who makes the catch, gets out of bounds, picks up 3, down to Lauren.
Guys, you can tell Holton Ahlers has this thing together. He's very calm here on the sidelines. When he got ready to go back out there, he's ready for this. He's got a little smirk on his face. It's his time to shine. He's ready to go.
We noticed that just in our meetings with the ECU coaches yesterday. There was a calm, quiet confidence leading into this game, despite the Pirates being the underdogs. ECU out of timeouts. Ahlers on the drag. He's got Mitchell. He can fly. Keaton Mitchell, 45, down the sideline. Mitchell out of bounds. ECU in field goal range. Cyrus Fagan was able to get him out of bounds. That is the last guy NC State wants to see with the ball in space.
You know when your quarterback gets it, it's when he recognizes a man-to-man mismatch. And that's exactly what he had there. He had his speedster, Keaton Mitchell, on a linebacker for North Carolina State in man-to-man coverage. Said, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw the ball 3 yards and let you do the rest. That's a guy who's in command and is recognizing the defense.
They may look at this to see if he stepped out earlier. And right there, he's out. Unless he stepped out even further back. Keaton Mitchell was clocked last year at almost 23 miles per hour. He is one of the fastest players in college football. He's the top returning rusher in the American. Great hands. And they will review to see where this ball went out. Now, remember, Owen Daffer did miss the PAT that would have tied the game earlier in this quarter. However, last year in the win against Navy, he drilled a 54-yard field goal to beat the midshipmen.
He did, and you know what? The beautiful thing about kickers is they're trained from a young age to have very short memories. They're trained to have thick skin, and you're right about that 54-yarder last season against Navy. If it comes down to him, I'd expect to see ice in his veins.
So they move the ball back a couple of yards, about 2. Ball at the 33-yard line. 1:49 to go. ECU out of timeouts. Clock will begin on the snap. Harris breaking tackles and turbines his way to the 30-yard line. The clock will continue to run.
Coach Houston said to us yesterday, he said, listen, I feel really good about our kicking game, anything inside of the 30-yard line. And that's where they are now. And now the key is to continue to get as many yards going forward as you possibly can. No negative plays, no pre-snap penalties, because now you are within your kicker's distance.
On the ground, Harris trying to spin away, and he's going to be tackled for a loss. Drake Thomas, first team All-ACC a year ago, and now less than a minute to go. It's 3rd and 10, and from here, it's about 50 yards for Daffer.
Yeah, it's in his distance, but I'm sure Coach Houston would feel a lot better if ECU can find a way to get a couple more yards to make it a little higher percentage kick.
Well, they're going to spread it out. Let's see if a run's on the table, even a quarterback draw. And NC State wants to call a timeout. How are you approaching this if you're Mike Houston? 3rd and 10, you don't have any timeouts. You're at the fringe of your kicker's field goal range. Do you run the ball and then get the field goal team on, or are you looking to throw?
Well, because of the Navy game last year, you do feel good about your kicker from 54 yards, but you would like, as close of a field goal as possible. Now, with that being said, you're correct. ECU has no timeouts. However, there's 30 seconds on the clock. So they can run the ball, they can throw the ball inside. They don't need to get out of bounds. They have plenty of time to get a couple more yards, get the field goal team out there, and snap the ball, kick the ball. I would say the biggest thing as a quarterback here is no unforced errors. You got to be smart with the ball, because at the end of the day, you are already in field goal position.
And so does the offense, because with less than a minute to go, any live ball penalty against ECU, NC State could elect a 10-second runoff, and ECU does not have a timeout to prevent that. Five wide, Ehlers, it is a quarterback draw. Breaks a tackle, gets inside the 25. Clock still running, 20 seconds. Here comes the field goal unit. Daffer, who missed the PAT to tie, with a chance to win it for ECU. And the Wolfpack want him to think about it.
Great play call right there by Donnie Kirkpatrick. Spreads out North Carolina State's defense so that he can tell Holton exactly what they're going to do defensively. NC State elected to not bring pressure. They drop back into zone. Holton, great job tucking the ball, going and getting some yards. Tremendous football play by the local kid. Here you see here, breaking one tackle, protecting that football. And that's what this kid is. We all knew it. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic. Might not always do it the prettiest, but he's effective and he's a talented quarterback. And I can promise you, this game means nothing. This game, nothing's bigger to this kid right here. This is the local hometown hero.
If he puts one through the goalposts, I tell you what, the goalposts may come down. Now that's been the history of this series. A 41-yarder. 9 seconds left. This for the lead and possibly the win. Daffer. No good! He pushed it!
Looks like a good snap, a great hold. Unfortunately, just a little bit of a push by Daffer.
And NC State, with a kneel down, will get out of the boneyard with its skeleton intact, but barely.
What a hard-fought game by both teams. You can't say enough about it. I mean, both teams laid it all out there and did everything they could to secure this win.
NC State survives it, 21-20. The Wolfpack did not score in the second half. They had to hang on. Owen Daffer, a couple of huge missed kicks. I hope the good folks in Greenville remember that he's a college student. We're in the age where a lot of vitriol can be directed at these young men. Just keep that in mind. ECU loses a heartbreaker. NC State survives. They're 1-0. NC State leaves Dowdy-Ficklen with its skulls intact. The 13th ranked Wolfpack pushed to the brink by ECU, but NC State survives to begin the season 1-0. ECU had a chance at the end of this game. The Pirates missed an extra point that would have tied it. They missed a field goal that would have won it in the final seconds. And Ishraf Brock Osweiler, this was not NC State's best effort, but they get the W. There's a lot to correct here.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, you do have to remember, football is about winning and losing. So at the end of the day, they still have all their goals in front of them. They got the win today. But I would say this, I'm sure head coach Dave Doran wanted this football game to go a much different way, especially with the high expectations that NC State has placed on themselves this year, and the rest of the country for that matter.
Yeah, number 13, highest preseason ranking in almost 50 years. And Devin Leary, the quarterback, ACC preseason player of the year. That's not the guy we saw today.
No, it definitely wasn't, but we know he has it in him, right? So, you know, the thing about Devin is, you know, he's a very consistent player. He protects the football. You know, those were the things we didn't see out of him today. But he is still the same Devin Leary we all saw last year. He's got a big arm. He's smart. He works hard. He's a tremendous leader. And his teammates love him. So, yes, he will go into this week. I'm sure he will criticize himself watching film harder than anyone. And he will clean up the mistakes he made today. And I expect to see a much, much better game out of Devin Leary next week.
He was solid, if not spectacular, in the first half. Second half, he had the big interception that opened the door for ECU to potentially come back. For NC State, a program that when expectations have been highest, results have not always mirrored it. Maybe fortune is smiling on Raleigh this year because the Wolfpack do get the W.
NC State and ECU. Take a look at the series history entering this one. 18 wins for NC State, 13 for East Carolina. Tons of history in this one. And when there's history involved, we go to one source. That's our guy, Mark Packer, who enlightened us earlier this week on this matchup.
Those people at East Carolina, they don't like you. They've torn down your goalposts not once, twice at your house. Now, I'm not telling you to go win the game and tear down the goalposts. I'm talking about winning with class. But NC State, if you're going to have one of those kind of years, it starts this weekend. And it starts by keeping the victory barrel right there in Raleigh, North Carolina. So consider that bulletin board material right there.
Nah.
Those East Carolina fans, not only did they beat you, they tore up your field, they ripped down your goalpost, they took a free invite, upset Miami, and then did it all over again.
Twice.
They can't wait to see your bus roll into Dowdy-Ficklen. Just telling you, they can't wait to see it.
You know what? Pack couldn't play, so maybe he should have been a coach. Pretty in pink right there. Number 13, NC State, kicking off their season on the road against East Carolina. NC State had outscored ECU 92-9 over the last two meetings. Early on, special teams.
Yeah, you got to have something happen. Both teams kind of stalling out here, getting some momentum, big-time play, scoring with your special teams.
That's special teams for NC State. Has had a touchdown in their last 4 games. Complimentary football. And then they got the run game going here, EJ, as well.
Yeah, excellent job. Offensive line doing a gap scheme, you know, 2 guys pulling over there. But really, this running back right here, he solidified himself as RB1. Excellent job taking it to the house.
Here was where the momentum shift would come. Just over 10 minutes to play, 4th and goal. ECU said, not today.
The most embarrassing picture you could see is the entire defense knocking your back on the 1-yard line on 4th and inches.
A couple minutes later in the game, Rajay Harris finds a hole, gets in the end zone. ECU within 1. Here's ECU's Owen Daffer for the extra point. If we show it to you, you know it's not good. He misses it here. NC State clinging to a 1-point lead at this point. ECU in shock. Holt Nailers keeps it here, runs 9 yards deep into territory. They're trailed by 1. They just need a field goal. NC State calls a timeout. They want to ice the kicker here for ECU. He mixes an extra point, so Daffer ain't going to make this one. He's nervous. You feel for the young man. Wide right. ECU fans cannot believe what they've seen. NC State, 13th ranked team in the country, on the road against a G5 opponent, and they hold on. ECU fans in shock. Coach Dave Doran breathes a sigh of relief. And we had some close to some history made here. Most career receiving touchdowns there. Thomas climbing the board, coming up on Torrey Holt, an absolute legend there for the Pack, and had a heck of a pro career. Coach Dave Doran, they got the win, yes, but he wasn't too happy with Lawrence Sisler postgame.
Coach, maybe not the way you anticipated this game would end, but just describe the fight and just hanging in there and getting this win and how important this is for your football team.
It's important, obviously, for a lot of reasons to win a game like that. Sometimes you got to have a little luck, and we got some there at the end with that back-to-back miss by their kicker. But you got to give East Carolina credit. They played with a lot of heart. We got a lot to fix, a lot to get better, and we won, so we get to do it with the W.
What did you learn about your football team today?
We didn't tackle very good. Our short yardage goal line is not very good. We had 2 opportunities to score after turnovers. We didn't score. We had 2 balls on the 1, didn't score. We're not very good. That's what I learned today. So we got a lot of work to do. We're going to get really good because of this game. We're going to have a great week.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Yeah.
Look, so Coach, not too happy with this one, understandably so. Were you surprised by how NC State looked today, EJ?
I would say yes and no. I say yes because this is a team that we expected to come in and really make a statement. You know, the defense with all the guys coming back, the maturity of this team. But I say no because ECU has won a formidable matchup, and then also it's at their house. When there's rivalry games, there's emotion, there's tons of things that come into it. And NC State really has to get prepared to get the best from every single team they play this year. They had that target on their back. So I think, again, like Coach Doran said, they sneaked out with the win. They can go back and critique the things. The film's still going to be tough. He's going to be chewing guys out, but they won the game, and now they can move into week 2.
EJ, what I was shocked about was that ECU looked more physical. ECU looked like, Coach, they wanted to play, and they wanted to beat you, and that's exactly what they were doing all game long. You know, they had that physicality up front. The goal line stand, 4 plays on the 1-yard line. What do they get out of that? Negative 2 yards. I mean, that's crazy. And by the way, did they go heavy personnel? They go under center and give it to them? Well, I mean, what are we doing? So that when you have a massive running back like Sumo, get them the ball, get them in there short, get them a situation where it's not wide receivers there, bring some tackles in, bring some tight ends in, Coach. The lack of physicality offensively was a little bit shocking to me.
And the other thing, the psychology of the game, you know, the whole offseason, NC State hears about how great they are, and they're human. I mean, I hated it as a coach when the other team hears about how they're going to get their butt beat, so they get mad as they can get. They'll be at home, their fans are mad. They hate your guts anyway to start out. And like you said, they just look like the more physical team. I mean, NC State, we talk about their maturity. You mentioned that, EJ, but they didn't look physically more mature than East Carolina did.
So, Coach, what is the messaging then? I mean, you've been the hunted, you've been the hunter. When your group comes out having to be the team that now has the bullseye on them with the 13 in front of them, and they don't look like the 13th best team, Coach said they're going to be better off for it. Why? What's he going to go back and say to his guys here?
Well, I think the biggest thing when you prepare for a game like this, if you sniff anything as the head coach that looks like complacency or, oh, we got this game or whatever it is, I don't care if it's your manager, your trainer, your coach, your starting quarterback, whoever it is, you got to nip it in the bud early in camp. And I'm not saying they didn't do that, but they did not handle the prosperity at all.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is they get to learn all those lessons in a W. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, they said it there, Brock said it, or will say it, it's all about all your goals still in front of you. You got the win, move on.
Go ahead,
and I would say another key, too, if we look at it on the optimistic side, y'all know I'm the optimistic guy.
Full guy.
But still the fact that they got a touchdown in special teams. Defense made enough stops when they had to.
Yes.
And the offense did enough, again, for them to have the score over the team. Now, of course, having a little luck, like Coach said, a little bit of what was the green leaf or whatever it's called, you know, something in their pocket. But I feel bad for that kicker also for ECU. Man.
He didn't have it. He didn't have that.
Owen Daffer, especially in a game like that, a rivalry. That's not the side you want to be on in that one. But for NC State, when Coach Doran says they're better off for it, a road environment, a challenging road environment, and they go and get that win.